Hello, chat. How's it going, guys? How is everybody doing? Oh god, straight into the Zelda. Battlefield 6 had a bug date and it bugged right the heck out. I got shot, died, and respawned 5 seconds later and promptly self-detonated. Impressive. Okay. So, chat, I did get the go live stream tweet out. Do me the favor. Go give that some love. You know it helps the channel out. Na na na. Na na na. Cad, thanks for the Lotto video. Yeah, I should probably put that in the stream title. Lotto Guide out now. Lurk tax, no problem. And actually, I don't know if one of the mods can, but can one of you guys like add the Lotto Guide to the guide command? Okay, I think we're good to go. Why? I don't know why, like, sometimes it readjusts the capture card to, like, different sizes, but it does. And it's really weird. I may actually be capped out on AP. I was trying to keep it down all day, but today was our Christmas party at the office, so it just was what it was. But how was everybody's Tuesday? Today's Tuesday. I had to think. Good evening, and thank you for the lurk tax, guys. You guys know I appreciate it. Oh, wait, is this like... Huh. Let me re-update the bot. I don't know if the bot's working. Just a second, chat. Wait, what? Am I like not live on YouTube either? I'm so confused. I said good night. Ooh. Just a second, I'm refreshing the stream. Yeah, the YouTube stream title isn't correct. I apologize for that, but I believe you guys can see it on that end, and the bot is live. It's all been done. Actually, can somebody on the YouTube side of things say something? Just because I'm just trying to test to make sure the bot's working. And I don't know if it is. Something. Thank you, Zerbus. Appreciate it. Yeah, so the bot is working now. I just had to make sure because I just Again, I don't want to be like ignoring one chat or the other, so it's why like I want to make sure that like both sides are actually in my chat bot, because that's usually like how I'm reading chat. But again, I hope everybody had a good Tuesday. Like I said, we had our office party. It was a fun office party. It lasted a long time. Like I don't think we got done. We started at like 11:30 and we didn't get done till like 3:30. So it pretty much took up like half the day, if not more. And it was very interesting because we usually play a couple of games at it. We have played one where you have like a saran wrap ball that you have to unwrap while wearing like oven mitts, but they didn't do that this year, and instead they opted for like bingo, which was interesting. Because there was a couple of like extra rules to spice up the bingo for like passing the presents around, because it was like a white elephant style like gift exchange. But yeah, it was kind of crazy because it was like bingo mixed with Uno. And when they first like said that Uno was going to be there, I was like, oh god, no. I was like, you don't understand. Because it's like both me and my dad were there, and I'm like, if you have ever played Uno with anyone in our family, you would know not to play Uno with us. Bungo? Yeah, I guess you could call it that. It was bungo. Go ahead and get that pre-card crit in there. But, yeah, it was pretty fun. And then we also have a game that we play throughout the entire duration of the party, which is like, it's one of those bridal shower games where they give you like pins that you can like clothespins, and everybody gets one, and you're like, there's certain words that you're not allowed to say during the party. So like for us, it was like, we weren't allowed to say like Christmas, holiday, gift, or present. And the amount of times that I got somebody to say something was ridiculous, because there was a point where I already had like 5 pins that I had collected from people. And it felt like at that point, everybody else stopped trying because nobody else had more than like 2. And then I ended the party with 10 of them. And still nobody else had more than 2. And I was like, okay. So they all had to like fight over second place. But I got a nice like charcuterie board as like my gift. And then because I won the like the pin game, I ended up getting also a really nice candle for it. And that's great because girlfriend loves candles, and that one actually smells really nice. So it's just like sweet. I get a double dip here. I get 2 really nice like presents because I actually wanted the charcuterie board because I didn't have anything like that. And it's not something I'm going to be like, oh yeah, let me go out and buy a charcuterie board for myself. So it's just like, this is perfect. Unfortunately, I had to help them with all of like the moving involved with that. What's up, Raith? How's it going? And hello, Khalil. Has chat had any Christmas parties of their own yet? Or is it too early for you guys? Also, looks like they announced Rogue for Marvel Rivals, chat. And Rogue is ready for action. And she's a tank. Take a seat, darling. I actually really like her moveset. The problem's gonna be if you can connect it. See, so she can steal powers as a tank. I feel like that's just gonna be OP. So if we look there, she stole Thor's like hammer projectiles. She stole Strange's shield. It did she steal Groot's wall? Yeah, she stole Groot's wall. And then she stole the diamond skin from Emma. Oh, that's actually hilarious. That's actually hilarious, stealing the Mr. Fister meditate. So like you can just meditate at the same time as some. Wait, so did she steal something from Phoenix here? Yeah, it looks like she did. And then I'm not actually sure what she stole from Invisible Woman. Oh, she stole the pull. Oh, that's dirty. So as a tank, you'll be able to pull people to you. Ooh.
Better watch out. I'm feeling a little touchy today. Take everything!
So I don't know what that ult actually does. It almost looks like it's like Emma Frost like thing, except it's like an AoE around her, so it just deals AoE damage.
Nighty-night, sugar.
I'm not sure how I feel about the voice either, but definitely she looks like she's going to be a really, really fun character, and it looks like she's coming out on the 12th. She already has a pull, though. Look at the percentages next to HP. Yeah. I'm down for more, like, fun Vanguards, because I definitely don't think Vanguard's a bad class to play in Rivals. It gets a bad rap from people. But I do think some of the Vanguards are not very fun. And I think that was the issue that people had is I think playing Strange and Magneto was not the like most fun experience for people. And they're kind of the least dynamic tanks. So the fact that they were the meta for such a long time was not a good thing for the game because it made tanking feel boring. People didn't want to play those tanks, but people felt like they had to. She'd be fun if she didn't get permaban. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot competitive has bans. I completely forgot about that. It's been a hot second since I played competitive for Rivals. Which I peaked at like platinum for that, but I feel like I could have gone even higher and I just didn't bother to. Because it was more of a like time and commitment thing, and it was kind of like nerve-wracking sometimes dealing with people. So I've had just a much more like chill and fun time just playing quick play. Cad's still doing shell node right before a shell lotto, I see. You don't understand. Shells are eternal. Admittedly, like, I probably should switch off. It's just there's no good node to use my my bleached earth currency on my storm pods yet. We will get some, but currently none of the nodes are that appealing to this account. And so I'm stuck. I'm at like 9 out of 9 storm pods, so I've been whittling them down today. I'm doing the seed one, but that's because I have no seeds. Yeah, that's fair. Like, I've just been around for some of the early like lottos where you had seeds, so it hasn't been as big of a deal to me. But like my JP account, for instance, probably needs that as well because I shouldn't have popped that then. It basically just has the same issue of like it's also really shy on seeds. Is Saber in P1 good? Like OG Saber, like Artoria? Yeah, she can still be really solid. You'll definitely find things like she can't kill, but that's just par for the course at NP1. I feel like whenever you have NP1 of a unit, you just understand that like 90++ content won't be doable unless you have like a damage CE or something. But you can still do 90+, and you can still do every other piece of content with an NP1. Hopefully she'd make me want to play more again. I need to get a GM again. Have I played with you in Rivals, Cleo? I know I've played with a lot of people in chat, but I just don't remember if I've specifically played with you. And sometimes people have like different names in the game than they do on like stream. No? Okay. Arturia's not the best saber in the game, which is pretty up there. I think in terms of like simplicity of her kit, you can make a strong argument. But yeah, in terms of like raw firepower, there are other people that beat her right now. Which is like, I'm going to be really interested to see if we get this new Arturia here, we get her released as a summonable servant, and if they like, maybe on the back end, give Arturia an upgrade. And that would be really intriguing, I feel like. I need Archer and Caster and human enemies. And I'm not likely to get that during the event. I see the new update for Conan too. Yeah, I actually was just reading that before stream. As you guys can see. So, this one's interesting because they added thrall trading, and I'm really just not sure what that's supposed to be unless it's supposed to be player to player. I definitely like having new items in the bazaar because some of them are actually good, others are definitely not. But honestly, like, these two are the big changes. So they made it so that now you can craft at crafting stations directly from, or actually at crafting stations or with a construction hammer. You can now craft using resources directly from your inventory in the case of crafting stations, or in the case of your construction hammer, directly from your like thrall that is paired with you and is following you around. That's really nice. I actually really like that. I think there's a whole lot of stuff that you can do with that. And then sorcery, they apparently like streamlined it, made casting faster, and allowed sorcerer thralls to actually like gain some sort of like benefit to the player, which is like a thing that they didn't allow before. Should I go for Aoko or Alice? That's a difficult question because I don't think Aoko is a bad unit by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think the windup that she has makes a lot of people not use her. Yeah, what am I doing? Oh, that's the CQ. Do we want to do the CQ tonight? I think we'll go do my 2 runs here, and if I have 5 AP and we have the time at the end, I will. Actually, I think I'm going to take a point C. Aoko's great, but not needed at all. Yeah, that is the unfortunate nature. I think she's a really cool designed unit, but she is decidedly like off meta. Meta isn't everything, but I think there's definitely a case to be made about like Aoko having that clunkiness to her, and that a lot of players will prefer not to deal with it. There we go. I don't think I've ever used my Aoko. Admittedly, since I got her on JP, I've barely used her. Yeah. CQs is probably where she shines the most. And that's why it's like I'm not about to call this a bad unit because she is a very like high octane capable unit. It just certain units like her, they require a bit of a wind up is the problem. Oh, because the Type Moon Pro tag, yeah. So Alice then? Alice, I think, has the much more conventionally useful kit. But it does sort of depend on like what you need in terms of caster capability and whether or not you like even care about something like that. Like, I would argue you could potentially skip both units and it wouldn't be the end of the world. That being said, I would only I would probably only skip Alice if I didn't have like Ask, aka Tonalico. So it's like if you don't have her, then you probably could use a high octane like AoE caster, and that's going to make Alice really useful, especially with the fact she has her own form of like solemn defense. Also, chat, sorry if you guys can hear my munching. Oh, I get to use Andraxis's. Hello, Peanut. Hello, Age. Hello, Angora. How you guys doing? Hmm. They also did confirm, chat, that Todd Howard will be at the Game Awards and will be presenting an award. It just works, indeed. Wait, times 16 the awards? What do you mean? I feel like there's an elaborate Bethesda joke in there somewhere. How do I feel about Yui? We go refreshed looking at her kit. It has been a hot second. Because again, I don't have her on JP. She got the triple arts. Is the self guts one time 5 turns, recovers own HP every turn for 5 turns. Grant self debuff immunity 1 time 3 turns. I feel like this should be a little bit more like party oriented. Like it should be a targetable skill rather than just herself. Charges parties NP by 20%. Charges parties NP damage except for self. Sorry, increases parties NP damage except for self by 30%. Critical stars every turn for 3 turns. Reduce solid enemy's attack for 3 turns by 20%. That's sizable attack reduction. Sorry, I'm just reading chat's comments. They said it has 16 times the details. I got you. Yeah, I was gonna say I felt like that was a crack at Todd Howard, and I wasn't aware of the reference. Banner timing for her, yeah. Go to Alice and then Morgan if you fail. That's definitely possible. I think the issue is like, do you want somebody other than that? Yes, a lot of it has dropped. Yeah, maybe it is the Lotto command that needs updating. Okay, and then we have the increase all the attack of all allies with quick performance up, critical damage of allies with arts performance up, and NP damage of all allies with buster performance up. Wait, didn't she have a? I thought she had a tri-steroid, so that's my brain resetting itself. So yeah, I feel like a lot of Yui's capability is dependent on you having a different support there. Because she definitely wants to be an arts support with her third skill. But the arts crit up is just not that big of a deal. The attack up, if you have quick, is definitely nice. And the buster up, if you have NP damage, is actually like really good. So I feel like both these two are solid. The arts crit damage is kind of meh to me. Not that it can't be useful, just that like this is not that stellar of a benefit. And then the overcharge that actually heals the party. This is nice. This is party wide. So to me, she fulfills at least part of your role as a healer, but she also is a like sneaky good buffer. I don't know. I think a lot of it just boils down to like how much you can kind of get her MP off. I do think she's a useful unit. I also do feel like she's a unit that you just really don't need to have for the majority of the time. And it boils down to like she's been useful in a couple of like really select scenarios. And I remember like people talking about it, and every single time I had another solution to the issue. So it was never a case that I felt like I had to have Yui. Nabot's Lotto link needs to be updated. That I'm aware, but I don't know if one of the mods wants to grab that for me. If not, I'll do it myself. Just saw them confirm when Xmas starts on the NA news. Didn't see them mention a live stream before it. They have not confirmed when it starts yet. They've just, at least not to my knowledge, unless that like literally just happened on Twitter or something. But to my knowledge, they've only talked about the when the pre-campaign ends. Thank you, Burning. Yeah, Yui. And again, the opinion of Yui is that she is generally unfavorably good. If you're going to be rolling banners that she's already on, she's definitely a good pickup. But she's not someone you need to be like, oh man, I have to go out of my way to get this girl. Probably get the live stream next week. You will probably get the live stream, yeah, like next Thursday. Which does mean NA is going to be having a lotto at the same time as JP is going to be having the finale. When I come around. I feel like if I grind this more, I feel like I'm gonna hit max bond on Merlin. Yeah, it's not gonna take long. I may just go ahead and go for it because I'm already about to run in here anyways, and that'll get him a good chunk of the way. By the way, chat, just as proof, this is how all of my like low stars are. They all have all of their appends unlocked. Not necessarily leveled, but they all have them unlocked. Wow. Wow. I did not think I'd be getting Irie to Bond 10. Like, she was like Bond 6. She was not even close. Plan to get on the 19th? Yeah, so that makes sense because the pre-campaign is on the 17th. We'd have the live stream on the 18th, and that means that the event will begin on the 19th. Which I hate that they didn't give you a time there. They just said GMT -8. So I don't know if it's actually the 19th or it's like midnight on the 20th. But yeah, that's why I said like that does fit, and that is what we predicted, is that that would be the case. Hold on, chat. Headset's dying. No, I've only done like 400 runs. It's still a good chunk, but I should definitely do more. It's just been a timing issue. I'm also low key trying not to burn myself out in front of NA Christmas. I think you mean midnight on the 19th, and that's if that's the case, that's fine. How Bond flies, yep. What are the mats of the caster raid, Lotto? If you give me a second, I can show you. I just have to back out. And by back out, I mean murder. By the way, chat, this is my dinner. If you're wondering why I'm eating on stream, it's because I didn't eat anything for dinner. I had so much food at the Christmas party that I was like, I'm not gonna eat dinner. Okay, I've seen the new Strange Fake trailer. No, I've not. And weekly confirmation. I mean, they better confirm that it's weekly. Like, good lord. The fact that they had to confirm that is a problem. So, this is what the raid drops. So, really, really good maths. Really good. And then the lotto itself has shells, gears, octuplets, fangs, chains, and Proofs of the hero. So it really, this isn't a bad one either, depending on what you need. Like for instance, I the octuplets are actually low key what I need here. And I wouldn't mind shoring up some of the other mats. And it is a full-fledged lotto. It has everything else like you would expect it to. But yeah, that's why I said like this is legitimately the best node that FGO has ever had. It's just a very lucrative raid. It has very, very good bond and master level rates. And it has, on top of all of that, a lotto attached to it. So it's like a one turn lotto node that has insane drops of its own. Bruce, that's all I need to hear. Yep. Like I said, this is one that when it comes to NA is gonna go ham on this. JP, it's a little bit more difficult because JP didn't have any like prep time, and even still, JP is going ham on it. They knew people were doubting. I mean, and they're right to. Like, I suspect that behind the scenes, what happened with Strange Fake is that like there was some hiccups, and it was supposed to be like is probably supposed to be done like last year or something, and the studio just didn't have the time. Yeah, see, so like I'm legitimately getting like 10k a run right now. It's actually more. It's almost like 11k with Merlin in the front line. And Shakespeare himself is probably not too much further off of being Bond 15. So I feel like this is a go until they are scenario. This raid legit saved my JP account. I went from poor man's account with Ole Koyen to having all caster supports from just free cent quartz alone. That's nice. That sounds like you got really lucky with rolls. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's I do think FGO gets a bad rap sometimes for its gotcha mechanics because it doesn't have, you know, like the Genshin style pity system, but because we don't have a artificially suppressed rate like the Genshin style does, you can just luck sack, and people always discount that luck sacking. Because yeah, there are times where you get completely screwed. There are times though when you get exactly what you want. Hey, there you go, chat. Got the IREC. Definitely, definitely a good one. I feel like Irie deserves that love, especially because her in-game performance has not been great. Even in the back, that's at least 9k bond there. Yep. Oh yeah, let's make sure we roll. Here, chat. I'm gonna set this up to roll. It's a double. I just need to go grab water, so you guys tell me what I got. Meh. Yeah. I mean that's what we're used to. Also, chat, wasn't I hit 1500 yesterday? And then I cashed in my extras, and now I'm almost at 1600. I'm not gonna argue that I didn't cash in my extras there, but like Legitimately, we also have 30 more tickets, so that's the equivalent of like 90 more courts. So we're knocking on the door to 1,700. So we're only about 100 courts shy of a second pity. And if I was able to like farm this more, I would definitely abuse it. I do need to bond grail. Shakes. Yeah, I've used like 12 of my bond grails here. Just because of how efficient the bonding is. Game do be silly. It do be. Let me double check something. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Avalon. Yep. He's only 100k away. Question is, do I have somebody that I could replace Merlin with? Huh. Does overcharge work here? It's not great. She does have scaling damage off of her NP, but it's just an additional buster up. And it's like base 5%. So like, well, yes, that does matter. No, that's not enough to offset Merlin. Like, ironically enough, Yui would actually be a pretty decent option here. So yeah, once Merlin hits Bond 15, I'm not sure what to do farm-wise. Compositions of the Lotto Guide requiring my NP2 Oberon. Most of them don't, thankfully, but yeah, there are a couple. And it's usually where you're using Oberon in like the middle wave or something like that. Helena, ironically enough, chat, my JP account does not have Helena. I want you guys to think about that. My JP account still does not have Helena. And it has been playing for like 6 years. Actually, I think it's 7 now. So it's like, it's been around a long time, and I've just never gotten her. Not very Mahatma of you. I legitimately can't explain it. I don't know how it happened, but it did. Oh wait, hold on. Did I not replace Irie on the backline? I don't think I did. I feel like I wasted right there. Even I have her. Yeah, it's one of those deals where I had options to take her with like tickets and stuff, and I just never did. And then she just never spooked. Because I figured it's like, oh, it's such a waste of a ticket if she does spook me, but she never has. Ugh. Could run Landling. I can't use Landling. It's caster only. Liz? It's gonna be woo. I usually won't go for somebody like a welfare because coins are easy to get on the welfares. As opposed to somebody like a summer unit. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because fuck getting coins on a 4-star limited unit. So it makes that a lot more feasible, if that makes any sense. How much damage is Merlin giving? He is giving 50% buster up, 20% extra attack up. So roughly 70% modifiers. And technically, he's also giving 20% charge and also an invulge should the situation require it. So sometimes he is used to both protect and charge the main damage dealer, carry up to 200%. Did you try to replace Merlin with Waver? I have not tried it. I assume it will not be enough for the majority of ASKs at that point. I think it would only be possible with a perfected ASK, and it would still be dicey. Also, Zuth and Drask, please, dear God, I love you guys, but I ain't killing shit with that, man. What about Ox King? I could potentially put an Ox King, and that's probably what I would do if I were taking another support. Because I am able to get away with Merlin's Bond C, so I have. Merlin's Bond C is a 4-star craft essence as opposed to a 5-star requirement. So it's allowing me to bond like better on the back line. %30 now, but same difference. So you're talking about the charge? Hmm. I again would like to denote, chat, that I have just still not dented my silver apples. Let alone my golds. So when there's actually like a long-term farming opportunity, like again, if this doesn't make me run out of apples, what will? I don't think the game can make me run out of apples at this point. And part of it's because I just didn't farm the other like grand duels as much as some people did. But the other factor here is that like I didn't need to. Like there was not a major benefit for me to do so other than to jack up my master level. Which I'm still getting a shit ton of master experience here. As chat can see, I'm already almost to 186. And I can probably make that happen at least tonight. I'm never running out of gold. Yeah, and I think that's the problem. I think like the devs are trying to actually drain people's apples, but they can't. And so because people have functionally infinite apples, they are losing out on anybody ever using quartz ever again. Like I'll be real with you guys. I don't know the last time I used quartz on an A to refill. It hasn't been a thing already on an A for a while. Like basically since blue apples came into the game. Okay, yes, thank you for the resub, my dude. Appreciate it. Have you ever told your girlfriend, are you a saber face? Because I swear I've seen you in my dreams, in my roles, and now right here. No. She's aware that that's what she looks like. And I think on one hand, she is flattered by it. And on the other hand, maybe a little bit unnerved by it. So I don't bring up the comparison very often. Because I don't want her to think that she's like a stand-in for me or something like that. Because she's not. I love her for who she is. I'm not trying to project Saber onto her. I managed to hit 190 with this raid. Yeah, I've seen a lot more 190s as of this one. Just defeating Saber drop resources? No, there's zero benefit to killing Saber. I'll probably still use Sankort since I haven't made a single blue apple on an A. I mean, Deontay, that sounds like an actual tangible debuff. That means you're having to spend money that nobody else is. I think many games have moved away from paying to revive. It would not surprise me if FGO considers moving away from it as well. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a problem to have. I just would say at the end of the day, like, you're not getting a lot of benefit out of it. And I'm not talking necessarily about paying to revive either. I'm talking about refilling your AP, which may be what you're referring to, and I'm just not understanding. But to me, I actually don't feel like that's a problem, other than the fact that FGO had been making money that way. So it's a revenue stream that they have lost due to mismanagement on their end. And why do I say it's mismanagement? Purely because obviously people used to do that and they no longer do it. So why don't they do it? Well, I think you have your answer. They don't do it because they have such efficiency in the game. And that efficiency was handed to us by the devs. Hello, Ice. How's it going? For New Year's, do they give us a lot of Sankorts? We usually get like submissions and stuff, but I wouldn't say like it's not like an anniversary like handout. It's a funny joke, right? Oh yeah, it's fine. I just figured I'd answer truthfully in case chat was ever curious. And because again, girlfriend has watched streams, so. But honestly, it is one of those deals where it's like, I do think it's a little bit unnerving from someone if you tell them that like you like them, but you only like them because they're like this other like fictitious character. And it's like, that's not the case. Girlfriend like fits for me in a lot of ways that even something fictitious like Artoria would not fit. And I have told her as such. Should you be using the gold apples first in low priority events? No. So the way apple popping should always work is you should always go low to high. And what do I mean by this? I mean that if you ever have the opportunity to use an apple, you should start with the smallest apple. Why? The answer to this lies in what the apples do. If you look at the bronze apples, they give plus 10. Okay? If you look at the blue apples, they give plus 40. If you look at the silver apples, they give plus half. And if you look at the gold apples, they give plus like 100%. Okay. The idea behind this is that as you level up, your AP pool gets bigger. This technically wouldn't apply for a lot of people in the end game because you are very unlikely to get increased amounts of AP. But the idea goes that you should always use your fixed amounts first, then use your scaling amounts afterwards. And the reason why is because let's say you level up in the interim and you get another point of AP, that then makes each gold and silver apple worth even more. So you want to delay their usage until you have whatever the maximum is. So by me not even getting to my silver apples until I was like way deeper into this farm, it's really nice because eventually I will end up at 190. I will get another point of AP, and that's going to make every single one of those gold apples, all 700 of them. The second I level up and get that extra point of AP, I just gained 700 AP. So I get 1 AP per apple that way. So it's definitely nice. Actually choosing 3D women over 2D women, cringe. Chat, it's great to choose a 3D woman over a 2D woman when the 3D woman is better than a 2D woman. I do get why people choose 2D over 3D, though, because there's a lot of shitty people out there. 3D is not always better. Look at me, you're safer now. Yeah, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair to anybody else. Like, I wouldn't feel good if someone were doing that to me. I understand why she has maybe some misgivings about that. And to be fair, she does like Saber as a character, so it's just I don't want to make her feel like that's the case. Story content in other gacha games is easy. That is true, I believe. At least, like, I do think, like, other games have, like, hard modes of story and stuff where it's not so easy, but, I mean, yeah, I still think it's, it makes sense for why FGO kind of gives you as much as you can in order to get through the story, because they've had issues with it. Whenever you also get 30% attack modifier, 30% MP damage, plus 30% attack up, plus 10% buster up overcharge. Okay, that might actually be worth then if I can manage it. Because I would at least get more charge there too, which would facilitate that. So I can definitely try out Waver after Merlin hits max. Now that is a lie. Granted, I also don't want to really max out my Waver. Wanna feel... Wait, does she know Fate stuff? Yeah. Girlfriend has watched most of the Fate animes. So I think she's watched original Dean Stay Night. She's watched Zero. She's watched Unlimited Blade Works. I don't know if she's watched whatchamacallit. Third route chat. Why am I blanking on this? Holy shit. Heaven's Feel. Yeah, I don't know if she's watched Heaven's Feel. She has not watched Prilia. I think she's watched Apocrypha. I don't know if she's watched, like, Last Encore. I don't think she has. But so again, she's watched quite a few of them, chat. So she's at least, like, familiar with the Fate franchise. Like I did that day. And that's... yeah. Let's go try it. Let's go see if we can do Waver. Yeah, Merlin buffing other bond. Yeah. It's give my life away. Okay, so this is a perfected one. Waver, get in there. You're not gonna be able to use Merlin's Bond C, so wait. Wait. Ah, yes. Okay. 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 Lotto Guide out. Cad's teaching people how to win at Mega Ball. Yep. I maxed mine a few days ago as well. Yeah. It's just funny because I actually, in the grand scheme of things, have not used my Merlin too much on JP, but that don't matter. Okay, let's do that. God damn it. I had the same problem that I have with Merlin, which is that Waver's deck is triple arts. Let's see how much damage we can output. Okay, that clean cleared. Okay, it definitely will work. At least with a perfected one. So, thank you, chat. Thank you for doing the math for me. To be fair, it's like I thought it was close, but I wasn't sure if it was actually going to punch it. But yeah, I think it's literally the fact that he has overcharge now is such a big deal. It's actually like game changing for things. The real problem is going to be when that becomes Bond 15, which is like I don't think there's any solution to that. Like Shakespeare is such great like bang for your buck efficiency here. Doesn't need the Bond C? Probably. Because like I assume even with a perfected one, a low roll is still possible. And it's a good idea to avoid that if at all like possible. You don't want to potentially low roll. It's not super confusing because I haven't played extra. It's just, to me, it's a lot more boring without the context. It's not like you can't understand. It's not very impactful to you if you didn't play extra. My Edison's already Bond 10. All right, let's try with Pachi's. Pachi's is not perfected. Let's see what he's capable of. So this actually does make getting to 200% a little bit easier here. Last was 2.2. This was 2.4. Yeah. There you go. 2.6. So it's looking consistent, chat. I will take it. And we are close to leveling up. I'd say let's go until we do level up. Try to make sure I get that. So 2.2 seems like a low roll. Well, keep in mind there's a little bit of a variance with the ace themselves. So it's not always guaranteed. So like, for instance, that one we were able to get to 200% charge. This one we can't. So that is a loss of 5% extra buster up. And it also depends on, like, do we get the buster down versus the attack up, or do we get neither? If you have a low roll and you get neither buff, it can still fail, probably. I really do feel like the background brings me back to the Solomon raids from year one. Yeah, actually, in that respect, chat, let's not do the CQ tonight because this has limited time. I would prefer to farm this as much as possible. So this one I can get to 200%, so we will. Especially since I had the Buster down, it's just going to keep securing it. Y'all have the raid nostalgia. I won't, as I'm newer. What do you mean? How many boxes am I aiming for? I'm not. There's just like we only have a couple hours left, so it's just get as many as I can. I'm actually considering like chat, do you want to do the Nemo recording tonight or would you prefer punting that to another day? Cuz it's not like anybody can do anything with Nemo just yet anyways. So I actually feel like it's better to just go ahead and farm this while it's available. We can punt. Yeah. It feels like the smart thing to do here is to just keep farming. And let's see how much we can get out of this. Especially because, like I said, I didn't really get to farm over the weekend. So the fact that I've already farmed as much as I have is really nice. This is a super efficient, super fast node. And I also feel like people's ASKs are finally getting a little bit better. We're seeing people actually like finish off their class scores and stuff now, whereas like before they had not. Farming just feels nice. It really does. Oh, I shouldn't have done that, but whatever. Okay, so this one we don't have buffs. So we don't get the attack up from a mighty chain, and we don't get the buster up from a triple buster. Every time I see this MP, I want to go back and play Elden Ring. Still clean cleared, did 2.4. So we know 2.2 kills, but I think 2.2 is on like the threshold. I think it's like either 2 flat or 2.1 are what you like have to have in order to kill. I gotta finish more Mystic Codes. I mean, you definitely can with this. I'm sure this has been amazing for people finishing off their Mystic Codes. Guys, do I need to pick up King Hassan to farm the Assassin Grand Duel? No. No, I did it with Kama. I feel you. 120 guys took more than I thought. She's still 118. Yeah, I feel like it's been one of those where people have been trying to for a while, but they maybe just either didn't roll enough copies themselves, or they maybe what's the word I'm looking for? Like they maybe just needed the coins that they needed to farm out, and so that's why it took so long. Because again, I was definitely in that same boat. This is actually slight. No, it's the same. I was gonna say this is the same amount of button presses as Merlin. I just literally get more charge. If her last hit hits below 480, it's dicey. Yeah. Nemo's permanent. He ain't going anywhere. Well, it's just Nemo is a welfare that no one will be able to acquire until the event goes live anyways. So it's like, oh, I can talk about him, but it's not a huge deal. And like chat has denoted, this is a time-limited thing, so we should try to make the most of it. So again, if you guys have one of the really good ASKs that I keep using, do me that favor and like refresh it. At least some with some frequency. You don't have to do it like every 2 seconds by any stretch, but I don't know if I told chat, but one of the dates I was on with girlfriend, we were walking around a lake at a park, and we both had like a miniature freak out moment because we actually saw like a meteor shower. And we got to see like a big one with like the entire like lens flare effect. And I was like surprised by that. But this happened a couple weeks back. And there were several like smaller ones that you could see, kind of like a shooting star. But there was like a big chunk. What did y'all wish for? I can't say. If I tell chat what I wish for, then the wish is void. You guys know how that works. You had a Kimi no Nawa moment. That would have been so romantic. It was. Just like Salmon Man, I believe they should give all Grand Keepers as welfare. I hesitate to say this, but this actually like low key feels like it's more consistent than Merlin was. And I don't like that. I don't like that this is somehow working better than Merlin did. Like that waiver buff is just legitimately strong. And this is why, again, I think people were saying like, oh, the waiver buff isn't going to matter. It's not going to impact things. And it's like, yeah, it is. Gonna be able to use Bow Bond for Lotto so I can start grinding her Bond for 120. Nice. Did you feel like a dinosaur? Like, low key, yes. Because at first when I saw it, I didn't know what it was. And I thought like it was like a rocket, a missile, or a ship coming back in to like the atmosphere. And I was like, oh shit. There you go, chat. 186. All right, let's try with Quidam. Quidam has like no class score set up. So let's test quote unquote failure here. So we can at least get him to 200% because he has a lot of the unlocks. He does have the Buster down, so that definitely helps. So this will probably still clean clear. You know, I was recently trying to get Medea Lily from the waiver banner. Yeah. Armageddon. Yep. Which, you know, the thought has occurred to me. It's taken me so long to find someone that it's like, oh yeah, of course. I find someone and the world ends. So it's like when I saw that meteor, I was like, oh shit, here we go again. There we go, chat. 2 courts, 3 courts. We just got 5 more. We on our way. Yeah, I actually think waiver is just making this more consistent. If we get an HP reducing Mystic Code, we could utilize Asuka and Hijikata's low HP buffs better. That's an interesting idea. I mean, there's definitely some skills that drain HP from the party, but I think like that's where like Coin Sky and stuff come into play. We basically got a free gold apple there as we did level up. But the reason that it's good that this is consistent is, as you guys can see, this is making the farm go way faster, simply from the standpoint of I'm not having to fish as much for a good Ask. It's also because the good Asks right now, for whatever reason, are just showing up on my friends list. So, yeah, if you guys are one of them, thank you. I do appreciate it. But it definitely looks like the farm here is going really quick. Sorry, I have to chew through 9 ads to get back to stream. Yeah, it's all good. Thank you for watching them. Waiver pulling up on business after everybody called him washed, pretty much. That's what I'm saying. Like, again, I do think people tried to undersell the waiver buff. I think sometimes people don't have the foresight to realize when something is like gonna be strong and like has a lot of capability. And I definitely know, like, with other buffs and other units that come out, I'm sure there's like things that I miss myself. It's just one of those deals where it's like, this one to me seemed very obvious that this was not like other buffs where overcharge had come into play. And this was, as I had mentioned before, this is one of the proposed changes that I had mentioned for waiver. That if you wanted to keep him unaspected, something like overcharge is probably a good idea. The only reason I think I resisted like trying to like full send that concept was because they had recently given Reigns overcharge on her Noble Phantasm, and so like that one was also one where it was like, oh, this was so close to being legitimately good, they just needed to give it to her not on the Noble Phantasm, and so because of that, Reigns' buff has always felt a little meh to me. Whereas, like, the buff here to waiver and it being on a skill, that's just redonkulous. So if they had done that with Reigns, Reigns would be popping off right now, too. Oh. Make sure we get that. A skill like Summer Musashi, yeah. How are you going to plan for Merlin or waiver in the for NA Grand Battle? Like, what do you mean? Because, I mean, this is already, like, what we're doing. My waiver on NA is more cracked than my one on JP. Now get back to farming. Yep. The interlude parts should show who's missing and what are the requirements. Are you talking about like for the purposes of like seeing units that you have but you can't do the interlude for? Sometimes they do. Other times they don't. And I think it's like in the case of it requiring an ascension, it will tell you. I think in the case of it requiring a level, it will not. Actually, no. I think it's the reverse. I think it's when it requires a bond level, it will tell you. When it requires an ascension, it won't. Because it just means you haven't leveled the unit enough yet. Oh. Babandro. Song request die? See, there you go. My good streak of really good Tonalicos is gone. There we go. There's just a ton of dead time after that song. Which I also want to say, Chad, I don't want to keep like stringing you guys along here, but I really do mean it when I say that the girlfriend probably will be coming on stream at some point. I'm excited for you guys to get to meet her. And it's one of those deals where, again, I'm taking things at her pace. So that's why like I can't give you a like hard and fast date on this sort of thing. Yeah, it is just a soon TM, but I think maybe chat thinks that I'm like kicking the can down the road or something, and it's like that's not the case. When she does, she does. Yep. But I hope you guys are as excited for it as I am. What's the minimum MP level for Ace to make your Grandcaster farming setup work? I've said basically that like NP5 obviously works, but like the big thing is like you need MLB Black Grail. You probably want 120, and I'm looking at. I think the worst would be like an NP3. And NP3 would probably have issues with consistency. but NP4 and NP5 definitely work. So, unfortunately, that means it's pretty close to a perfected ace. But the reason why is because you get times like this turn where I didn't get a Mighty Chain or a Triple Buster Chain. And so because of that, it makes dealing enough damage a little rough. So you want a good ace if you can help it. So that was a lower roll, but still enough. The missing 2 interludes might be from Unsummoned Servants. It could be. If you're on JP, they're all available right now, but... like, there's a reason I have this sorted by level right now, because one of the quickest determinants is going to be, have you leveled your ace to 120? If you have, you probably have high, like, Noble Phantasm levels. And, again, you've probably, like, worked on the unit as it is your grand choice. If you don't have the unit at 120, it's probably an indicator that you don't have the coins or the NP levels. And that it's not as serious of a character for you. Therefore, it's going to be less developed and less likely to clear. NP3 can work if you have everything else, yeah. Yeah, the other factors at play there are making sure your grand score is done, making sure your class score for caster is done. Both of those do impact things and are something that you definitely want to try to like pay attention to. I don't know why these rant song requests just don't have like sound at the end of them. It's like they just baked in dead space so that it wouldn't get taken down for copyright. I want to have Ace as my Grand Caster, so it looks like I need to roll more copies since I only have her at MP1. I mean, you don't have to, but yeah, I think if you're looking at like trying to like 120 and stuff, and to be fair, chat, you don't have to do the setup that I'm doing. There we go. We got a low roll. So this is the first failure that we've had. And this will be interesting. Let's see how a waiver composition handles failure. Okay, we got a little bit lucky here. Artoria targeted ace, and that might actually just be enough. And it is. Flawless victory. So this is not a bad outcome given the effect. Oh, also, ooh, so I don't know if chat noticed it, but her third skill came back active there, and it didn't trigger in my head. But the reason it came back active is because of the overcharge effect of Merlin, or of Waver, sorry. So that's actually another benefit of using Waver here. You're going to get access to her third skill faster. So this actually does make this comp even more consistent, even in a failure. That's so... oh, God. Like... I mean, part of it's just the way that Ace functions and the fact that, like, the overcharge does impact her to that degree. But the other part of it is just, again, Waver's buff is just really strong. Okay, okay, this isn't NP5, but this person does not have their grand score done because I did not get the Buster Down effect. Oh, no, I did. Wait, why didn't it show up there at first? Like, I swear it wasn't there before the Noble Phantasm, but maybe I'm just insane. But you can see I don't really stop to look at the results. There's no point. I just need to get as much clearing done as I possibly can here. Waver's goated like that? Yep. So interestingly enough, I'm going to say you probably can get away with an NP3, but it's one of those where it will be less consistent. If you want it to be more consistent, you have lower MP levels, try doing things like Plug Suit and using a third support in there. That will definitely help spruce things up, but it will restrict like your overall efficiency as to like how fast you can clear the node, as well as like who you're able to bond on the back line. It's not the end of the world if that's like the way you have to do it because you don't have strong enough units. I think that's perfectly acceptable and fine because this is still a very lucrative situation, and you would still be probably one turning it as opposed to in other scenarios where you might have to go like multiple turns. That is the thing that I risk here is if I do fail on damage output, I have a multi-turn scenario and it's not conducive to like clearing quickly. So there is that like slight risk that in a low percentile of situations, I end up having to go multiple turns and it really slowing the run down for me. Mr. Worldwide strikes again. Yep. Also, apparently, Dead Space at the end of the song strikes again. Better chance? I don't think I've ever heard this. Like, it's wild that I've already been farming as much as I have, and I'm still only down to like 50 of the, well, sorry, I'm only down 50 of the silver apples. Also, wait, am I taking crazy pills? Does Waver have 2 Buster cards? No, he just has the one. So I'm just getting really lucky. Like Waver's Buster card just keeps appearing. Because I keep getting triple Buster and I'm just on a really good streak of it. So it's like I'm riding on the high of like that efficiency. If I'm lucky, I can probably make 187 by the end of stream, which at 187, I'm not concerned with getting to 190 in a timely manner. I feel like that will be a thing that will happen. Ah, there we go. Think of this Lotto, my Saber, and Summer Caster are going to be working overtime. Yep. Is there a way for the experience from the Lotto can stack up instead of having stacks of 1 and 2 experience cards? The first 10 boxes that you roll out, Darnell, will have smaller increments because of things like that, because you have to roll them in smaller increments. After the first 10, it should be you're able to roll them out like 200 at a time. So you'll get much bigger stacks. So my advice would be if you've done a lot of boxes already, go ahead and open those first 10, clear them all out of your mailbox, and then start letting the stacks stack up, because you'll get stacks of like anywhere from like 7 to like I've seen as high as I think I've had like a 24 stack, which is freaking absurd. But like usually I'd say on average it'd be somewhere from like the realm of like a stack of like 7 to like 17 would be a pretty like average amount that you would see. Yeah, that's what I thought, John. I just had to like double check to make sure I wasn't like taking crazy pills, because his Buster card has come up so many times already that I was like, dang, this is wild. How do you feel about the grand currency being wasted after you've unlocked all the stuff with it? Do you think it should be converted into something? I don't know. I do kind of like hear that maybe they should allow you to potentially like set up multiple grands or something that you could freely switch between. But I get it. And let's be clear here, chat, that may actually be what they do in the future. That like for right now, or at least until you've completed Cosmos and the Lost Belt, aka the finale upcoming, until you've completed that, you can only have 1 grand. And then it may be a case of they let you like preemptively set up others that you just have to switch between. So it's like you can still only have 1, but they retain whatever progress you made with them and you're just able to like switch back and forth. I could see them doing something like that. Because that would incentivize you to at least complete 120ing with other people, to still complete like the process on the other characters and not feel like that sort of thing is left behind. But at the end of the day, does it matter? I don't know. Getting 2 master levels in one session at this late stage is impressive. It really is. Especially because master levels at this point in time are very flat. Like, I think master levels have been flat since 140. They definitely take a long time to get usually, but obviously, like, lottos and raids are usually the best times for it. Thanks, I was worried. Yeah, no, it's all good. I do have a video talking about how to, like, handle your mailbox stacking, but I kind of just gave you the TLDR so you don't have to go watch it. I think they should create a shop where you can buy statues and stuff. They have. It's called the Pure Prism Shop. But yeah, I mean, like, it'd be interesting to see if they would allow you to, like, convert extra currency from something like this into at least something usable, even if it was a shit rate, right? That way you felt like you were getting something out of it. Yeah, did you guys know that this song was recorded in the 80s? Delay in chat causing misunderstandings. No, it's all good. I figured that's what you meant. Usually months between master levels, and I'm at 167. Yeah. That's farming opportunities absolutely accelerate that. You grew up in the late 80s. How old are you, Power? And just in case chat was wondering, I was memeing because even though Duran Duran is absolutely a group from the 80s, everyone always thinks this is a much older song, but it's just like, yeah, they released an 80s song in current year. It works at least, yeah. I mean, if you're someone like me and you just like love like rock music and 80s music, it's what the fuck do I care? That's great. Hell, release more of it. There's a lot of like modern music now that is influenced by the 80s sounds, anyways. Okay, so this is a bad composition for output. We didn't get to 200%, and we don't have a double buster or mighty chain setup. You're 4 years old, Power? Damn. That's impressive. Although I think I have to ban you if you're 4 years old. I don't think anybody under 13 is allowed to watch Twitch. Born on leap year? Oh, I see. Sorry, though. I have to ban everybody that's born on a leap year then. Memes of the DNA of the soul. True. If the beat good, the beat good. That's exactly my stance. Rip Power, they were a real one, indeed. Wudge, thank you for the follow. Welcome. He meant his age is 4 digits. So he's like an isekai lolly vampire that's like actually 1,000 years old, but doesn't look it. I have a question mark. Do you have a question? I'll permit last request before I ban you. The mark of a question, indeed. $40. Ah, okay. If one is born on February 29th, do you celebrate it on March 1st or do you wait every 4 years? You probably celebrate it on February 28th. At least that's what I would think. But that is an interesting idea. Because I'm sure there are, kids that are, right? Oh, finally had to refresh. It's hilarious that I look at the name of who I'm taking more than I look at like the specifics of the character, because I've learned who has the good the good Tonalicos on my friends list, and I just take them over and over again. I don't know why, but I feel like with that song, I was expecting like "Curse You, Bale" to come in. Curse you, Bale! Reliability support. Yep. Okay, see, this one I have to check. It has no class score, but it has almost everything else done. So let's see. Hopefully the one that it has done is not the Buster Up one. That would just be tragic because we definitely have triple Buster here. Gotta love the 199. Okay, does have the Buster Up. Cat, how'd you get 700 golden apples? I burned through so much AP on Grand Duels. I didn't farm the Grand Duels that hard. I've done about 100 clears of every other Grand Duel. And man, was that a smart move on my part. Because, good lord, the efficiency of this node is so much greater than all the other Grand Duels. At least in the sense of, like, bang for your buck. My step year is a leap, baby. We celebrated for the first on non-leap years. Interesting. You just go... You would just basically say it's like, oh, I'm born on February 29th. Therefore, my birthday is always the day after February 28th. Is the way that logic works, I assume. The government makes you pick for official purposes? Jesus. This one's nuts. It really is. But yeah, as to how I have 700 gold apples, I just am really efficient with the game. I always like spin down my AP. So if I'm not, I'm making blue apples. But at that point, chat, I'm either making blue apples or spending my AP. My AP very rarely rots. Very rarely. So because of that, you guys basically, I'm not going to say like everybody can't understand that, but basically every time I'm given an apple, it doesn't get used. It just stockpiles until there's a farm event like this. And unfortunately, because JP had like several time periods where there were just severe doldrums and just lack of content, I went into a couple of the lottos with such a lead on apples that the lottos have not been able to drain me of them. So if I finish a lotto doing my 500 boxes and I still have apples left over at the end, those apples carry to the next lotto. Simultaneously, some of the really good farm events on JP, like raids, usually happen at a time period where I cannot farm them, and they are dead way too fast. So because of that, I don't actually get to use my apples in those circumstances, and it kind of deprives me and makes me stockpile. So again, it's not due to like misplay on my part by any stretch of the imagination. It's just a confluence of factors and having played for a long time. So yeah, I don't really see the game being able to give me a scenario where I run out of the gold apples that I have. Past CAD set current CAD up. Yep. Always. Seems to do that. I hope future CAD is enjoying the new saber face. I hope so too. Well, we just got even more quartz there. So we're probably going to expect two more big influxes. I don't know if I'll get to them both tonight, but it would be if I can manage to get Shakespeare to another Bond Grail or two tonight. You guys can also see just the speed at which I'm in and out of the node is pretty good too. And this is why, like, for after years of farming lottos, I am so quick usually in a node. What's the better month, February or March? Bro, I don't know. The massive amount of inefficiency it is to use apples on an A before them, and the better bond sees. I wouldn't say it's inefficient to use apples before that point because you guys gotta like you have 2 years until you get here. The thing that I pointed out again is that, and let me make this clear: if you guys want to get to the point that I'm at, despite still farming in events, you can. Here's the idea: step one, do not waste your AP. What does that mean? Don't let it rot. Make sure you always are spending it down every day so that it, like, if it does cap out, it's never capped out for more than, like, say, an hour. Make sure that it's ticking constantly and you will get the most out of that. Step two, if you're doing that, make sure you're, like, clearing your events and stuff like that. And then you won't need apples to actually clear a normal event because you're not going to be stuck playing catch up. Step three is if there is no event, if there is no half cost opportunity, or if there is one but you're already done with it. Let's say there's half cost story but you're already caught up on story. Okay, so if there is an event or there isn't an event, but basically there's nothing that at the moment it appears to be lucrative for you to farm, make blue apples. Do your 3 runs that day, but then just make blue apples for the rest. Why? Why not? What you're doing is you're effectively bargaining with yourself and you're saying, my AP currently in this moment where there is no increased efficiency for anything can be crystallized and carried forward in time to a point where there is increased efficiency. That's the entire way you guys should be using blue apples. And if you can manage to do that, good Lord. Yeah, that's how you get into a situation like I am right now. So I don't use my AP when there's no good reason to. It does kind of require you to be a little bit ahead of the game and not needing to farm other things. But the logic kind of goes that you're saving it for a time period where it's better to farm those things. Obviously, you have to play during those times in order to get like the reward out of that. But again, I do feel like stuff like that's really, really useful. And so if you guys can manage to do all of those steps, you'll find yourself in a situation just like I am. If a lack of mana prisms or I wouldn't even farm the Xmas Lotto that much, yeah. It still snows in February, so March. I think it still snows in March. It just depends on where you are in the world. I mean, shit, I've seen snow in July when I was up in Canada, which is kind of wild in retrospect. Also, reduced AP for the node also extends your apples. Correct. So it's like, chat, why would you farm a node that's going to take you 40 AP when you can farm the same node later with the same AP, but it's half cost? So you carried your 40 AP forward, and now you get 2 runs instead of 1. That's the logic of why blue apples and saving your AP works really well. You're basically just trying to defer until a point where the game is running campaigns that are beneficial to you. It does snow here in March sometimes. Yep. Just depends on how bad winter is. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Let's grab that. From what I've heard, the seasons in Canada are winter, still winter, really winter, and road repair. Yeah, that sounds like Florida. Just replace all of the winter with summer, and it's the same concept. There's summer, still summer, really summer, and road repair. I let storm pods stack to 9 until an event. That I usually don't bother trying to min max too much. I try to make sure my storm pods never go over cap, right? Like I have gotten to cap several times, but I always, once I'm at cap, I take that day and I spin them down. Because storm pods you also don't want to waste. At least not for the first 3 years of you having them. After you use them every day for 3 years, then you technically won't need them anymore. At least until they change this system. Louisiana, the roads are just bad? Well, yeah, that's why everybody uses the swamp to get around. Is 5 degrees this morning in my state? My condolences. Today it was like, I think it was in the 60s, and it was nice. Also, because I'm sorting by level, if 120s don't immediately appear at the top of the list, I can pretty much just refresh right away. So I don't even have to scroll through the whole list. It's just a easy way of being able to tell like whether or not there is an actual unit that I want to use. If the new saber becomes summonable, do you think the name will be the same as the one we see? No, I do not. Maybe in like one of the forms, but otherwise, no, I don't. It's kind of late. No, it's not. It's 9 o'clock. Yeah, it's all good, Insane. Have a good one. Summer Lancer Artoria. Well, we do already have a Summer Lancer Artoria, unless you mean Lalter. Which, Lalter, hell yeah. Unless they bring stuff to NA early. That's definitely possible. I'm going to say don't count on anything coming to NA early until JP gets beyond, like, the finale here. Like, for instance, I would not expect, like, some early quality of life for NA right here at, like, New Year's. I just don't think it's going to happen. How many mana prisms does a player need to buy everything in the monthly shop? It's quite a bunch, especially now that they've added a lot of stuff. I'm going to tell you flat out, just don't buy everything in the monthly shop. You do not get enough mana prisms influx on a like day-to-day basis for that to be possible. The only reason that you maybe should consider that is if you're someone like me that's been farming for years and has such a lead on mana prisms that like they can make you spend everything every single month for like the next 4 years and you still wouldn't be out of mana prisms. I was gonna say, is this JoJo's? Alice hit Bond 13, nice. About 9 degrees. Good lord. Walter, please. Yeah. I would love Bond 15 buff early. That would be really nice. I stand by my earlier stance with bonding in this game that ooh, nice. Sanzang Bond 9. We got even more quartz there. That until they implemented the bond overflow idea, people were just not incentivized to bond their units. It was really stupid because it was like, oh, just throw your bond into the void with no benefit. And it's like, no one wants to do that. And I think they thought that they were going to like trick people into rolling more. And I think they finally backed off because they just realized it just does not work. Do I like Strange Fake? I do. I am looking forward to the new anime. I'm not happy we are getting rain. Rain doesn't delay or cancel school. Yeah. Can a high enough Summer Nero clear this? I'm not going to say no. It just probably requires a 3 damage dealer setup. Or sorry, 3 support setup. Yeah, God, Shakespeare's already halfway. He's definitely getting to the next Bond level if we keep up this pace. But will he get to Bond 15 before the end of stream? That I don't know. Also, chat, do you guys like how you can tell that I'm not botting because I literally end up being such a like ADHD person that I keep pressing the skills in a different order every time? Like I have my phone sitting right here in front of me, but it's like I don't know what it is. I can't seem to do the skills in the same order. Like I can't get into a rhythm with this setup. Sometimes my brain goes left to right, sometimes it goes right to left. Other times it's like, hey, let's just start with the Mystic Code, get the targeted skill out of the way right away. He's botting in his mind. That's not far from the truth, actually. My brain basically goes on autopilot with this stuff. Like, for instance, because I said it, my brain was immediately like, you should touch the Mystic Code. Oh, whoops. And every once in a while, you'll see me like double touch a skill like that just because I'm just not paying close enough attention. Really looking forward to the Bond overflow buff. Yeah, it's definitely nice. Solomon should hit Umu's niche. If she does, then that definitely could be possible. I hope we get a type red line after. That'd be awesome. I really still feel like Fate has a whole lot to give to like the anime community out there, and it's mostly been due to the squanderings of like other people that Fate has not managed to have a like recent hit. Gonna be at work by 6 a.m. does put a crimp on late night farming. Yeah, I feel you. Like I said, I mean, part of the reason I haven't been able to farm as much is just I am so frequently like busy doing other stuff now. It's either I'm busy at work, I'm just trying to chill and hang out with the bros and play a game with them, or again, I'm like on the phone or like talking with the girlfriend via text. So it's like my farming time outside of stream definitely is lacking at this point. I feel like a bot would click on Ace third skill even though it does nothing at spawn. Probably. I mean, I would say it depends on like whether or not you're using an actual bot or a macro. If you're using a like pre-recorded macro, it would always press the skills in the same order every time. A bot, I don't know. Touch the wrong button. I do that all the time. Redline release is way too slow. I mean, that's the case with a lot of stuff. Like, even Strange Fake has been getting released for a while now. Because, like, Narita just doesn't stay on his projects and keeps bouncing around. Got, like... What were they telling me the other day? He's got, like, 5 different series in progress at the same time. Which is kind of wild. I would feel like as a like writer, as an author, that would be difficult to do. I have like 50k prisms. 50k is not enough to be considered safe. And I know because my JP has about that much. Like, if you have 50k and you've bought everything, you have a lead, and you can expand that lead, but don't expect to buy everything in the monthly shop going forward. Though, to be fair, the idea behind it should be that eventually you don't need to buy foes, because you eventually bought, like, you eventually foe out all of your units. Because that is how my, like, actually both my accounts are. Both my accounts have every unit foed. Both my accounts have every unit leveled up. Both my accounts have all their strengthenings and interludes done. So it's just like, when you start getting to that point, both my accounts have all their mystic codes done. Like, when you get to that point, you're at a point where it's like, you only have to address new things that happen. And it makes it really good. Makes it very efficient for stuff. Solomon doesn't have the traits. That's unfortunate. A bot can alternate between macros. You could. That would just... Why would you care at that point, right? One chapter a year, it seems. That's wild. I have 90k. I'm gonna stop buying foes. I would definitely make sure you buy foes until all of your units are foed. But once you have everybody foed, then yeah, you don't necessarily have to. The big thing to watch out for is summer, because usually summer we get at least 7 new units. So that means you need 7 sets of foes pre-set up for that. Because you usually get at least 2 banners with 3 units each, and you usually end up getting a welfare. So weird delay this season with Chitose in the Ramone bottle episode releases. Interesting. I wonder if that's because, like, the studio just fell behind due to circumstances. Apparently there was a earthquake just yesterday in Japan. I still need to buy them on occasion for new units. Usually what I would advise you to do is buy them out of, like, event shops, more so than the monthly shop. Because at least with that, you're just spending, like, event currency, as opposed to having to spend, like, mana prisms and stuff that you worked really hard for. Stop buying silver foes with MP for a while now. OC extra missions have me so ahead on silver foes. Yeah, like, I think I have like 20 stacks in my mailbox alone. Alice should be able to kill if you set it up right, but it may depend on the strength of the Alice. Working through all my skills to 999. Well, you can definitely do that. My advice is almost not to, because I feel like if you get to that point where everything is 999, you're at a point where you don't have very much left to do in the game. Okay, so this is an MP3 chat. Let's test it. This is a perfect ace other than the Noble Phantasm levels. So let's see how much damage we can make Ace do. We do get the triple buster. Let's see. Wow, that actually did a shit ton of damage. That may have been a high roll. Yeah, I always worry about, like, whenever you play a long-term game like this, you have to give yourself goals. If you don't give yourself goals, you can struggle. You can eventually lose motivation to play and then quit, which to some degree, maybe that's like good for people. Maybe they don't want to be tethered to the game their entire life, and I do understand that. But to another degree, it's like if you enjoy the game and you want to keep going with it, you definitely need to make sure you still have goals that you can accomplish. Otherwise, you will just get bored. 7.4 up north, I think. Yeah, I know there were tsunami warnings for it. Second account needs to farm mana prisms for the latest seas. Yeah, it was up in Hokkaido. I've been using all my foes from the friend point gotcha to upgrade my units. There's still a lot missing. Yep. It'll take you a bit. Usually people don't finish off their foed units until at least like 2 years in. And from that point, then like once you do finish it off, like I said, it does alleviate things. But the fastest I've seen someone do it is about 2 years. And that's assuming that they actually do still roll. Because I've definitely seen people be like, oh, I'm only going to do like the low stars, and oh, it's so easy to foe all of your units. And it's like, yeah, of course it is. You just never roll anything else. This is why the stall hurts the game. You lose momentum, and then other things take over. I do agree with that. I think there's a point where you're stalling too much, and I definitely think it hurts the hype for the game. So I don't think it's that people actually quit, but like FGO gets like deprioritized. It's still such a great song. Do you only need to kill Solomon to clear the battle? Yes. You get no benefit for killing Artorias. The Solomon is just the only requirement. Like you don't even get extra like master or bond for killing Artoria, which is like at that point why kill her? And again, she does have like that special defense. So to me, it feels like the devs are basically telling you that like you're not supposed to. People have been killing her if they're using like Scheherazade or somebody that has a benefit against her. But I think the idea is like just kill Solomon. That's really all you're supposed to do. Mars Birdie gonna fuse himself with Ort in the final battle. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens here. What is clear to me is it's definitely going to be an existential battle. 27 degrees Celsius? Isn't that hot? Isn't like 25 degrees like room temperature? Of every support but Scotty Ruler, do you think she's a must-have for Buster teams going forward? Scotty Summer, aka Scotty Ruler, is a really nice unit to get. I'm gonna say if you have everybody else other than that, why not go ahead and get her? Because she is a quality of life improvement over OG Scotty. But is she a have to get? No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Assuming you have everybody else. Apparently Qinggong overkills everything. At 120, I could see how. Like a 120 Qinggong, like double Castoria buffed, has got to just shred. It's the same thing as like, I didn't really get to see it, but I would have loved to have seen like a 120 Arash in the like Archer Grand Duel. Oh shit, Lotto Guide? Correct. A single target could work, or is there a taunt in place? There is a taunt in place, but you can stun her with like a mystic code. And for that one turn, you will be able to target someone else. So that is a potential possibility. Okay, but Gong comp? Yep. And that is also the problem with Gong. If you go to use Gong, sometimes Gong comps are really slow. So it does depend on like what you're trying to do. But Gong, similar to a rash, has the like scaling overcharge effect. Not as bad as Summer Kuro comps. You're not wrong. That's like I said. Have you guys noticed that since Summer Kuro came out, you don't really see very many people using her? Like, and that is the reason why. It's not that she's not good. It's not that you shouldn't want to like have her. She's an excellent tool if you have to like do something that's like stretching the limits of capability. But if you don't have to do that, nobody wants to use her just because it's such a like wind up style. But Australian standards, 27 Celsius is a mild summer day. Hot doesn't really set in until about 35. Yeah. And I totally get what you mean by that as someone that's Floridian. It's like hot is another level. Like, for instance, I was at the office party and I was wearing my normal office clothes plus my sweater on over the top of it. It's Florida. It's not that cold. So most people are like, oh my God, aren't you hot? And I'm like, no. Like, as long as I'm not doing anything strenuous, I don't overheat. I can wear jeans in 90-degree heat and I will be perfectly fine as long as I'm not exerting myself. The second I'm exerting myself, oh boy. Can Ray shift to a time before Castor Vinci? Yeah. NP2 Anastasia with double Castoria and Arctic to 2-turn, it was consistent. Yeah, I feel like if you had a consistent 2-turn, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you obviously, if you want to one-shot this, because the capability is there, and behold the speed of the clear, right? Like, a one-shot on this is exceedingly fast. And Celsius 0 degrees is the freezing point of water. Yeah. I remember hearing like 25 is like room temperature, and I may be off on that some, but that's what I remember hearing. Like room temperature for us, and I guess it depends in the area, but it's usually somewhere in the 70s for Fahrenheit. It's like, for instance, girlfriend wants to keep her place usually at like 75. I keep mine on 72. But I also have like the Huskies to consider, so there is that factor. I usually keep it a little bit cooler than other people do. To me, though, like 74, 75 is what's usually considered room temperature. Oh, those first two almost baited me into immediately selecting them. For Saber Chan with Crane, Sabakuro. Third turn damage was 22 million. Oh, yeah. You could definitely do a crap ton of damage. Those videos always amuse me because unless you're doing like some slingshot bullshittery, that's nothing you guys can't just calculate. But I do feel like to some degree people don't understand the way the game works and they don't want to try to understand. So just having a video that can demonstrate the power is enough for them. Also different temperature tolerance at play. Oh yeah, like I said, because I live in Florida and have lived here my whole life, my tolerance for heat is way higher than most other people's, particularly humidity. Did people run out of Bond Grails and JP from Grand Battles? I have like 45 in an A. I haven't run out. I'm sure there are people that have. Like I was at like somewhere from like 37 to 35 when I first began, and I'm at like 25 now. So it definitely used a lot. I could have potentially used all my Bond Grails. It just doesn't matter. Try being a maintenance tech in a power plant. Summertime is disgusting. Oh, I'm sure it is. Any base comps that use Summer Kuro? I would like to use her instead of Plug Suit to level other Mystic Codes. There are some in the spreadsheet. I know there was at least one because I cursed Avalon for it. I was like, why did you put this in? Because literally the entire reason she was in there was not that she was needed for like the comp's functionality. It was literally just to rotate the party. And so I chastised him for that. But again, it's like he's absolutely right to do that. There's definitely like potential with something like that. I just didn't bother. To me, that's a little bit of a convoluted way of handling it. But vice versa, Floridians would die because it's too cold for them? Absolutely. 100%. Again, if it gets too cold in Florida, iguanas fall out of the trees. So it's a similar scenario where, like, if a Floridian goes north and it's too cold, I'm going to just freeze and fall down. '80s and above, I want to die. '80s and above usually aren't bad. Like I said, for me, with Florida, with the humidity, for it to be considered hot, I need it to be above 95 degrees. If it is not above 95 degrees, it is warm. It can be uncomfortably warm, but it's not hot. I'm not going to actually like break out in a sweat. I can stand outside in 90-degree heat and not sweat. And that's kind of insane, I think. Come to New York right now, Cat, is 20 degrees. I'm sure it is. There's my anime edit with this song. With ABBA? I do find it funny that they slow the runs down by making you wait on, like, Saber's procs at the end. But low-key, chat, I'm actually just here for the eggs that the snow drops. Holy shit, Cat, 700 gold apples? That's crazy. Yeah, what's crazy is I also have 700 silver apples, so I just haven't even touched my gold. Like, by the time I finally get to touch my gold apples, chat, I will probably have, like, over 1,000. Because I'm not going to get to touch them during this farming session. I literally, I cannot physically do enough runs to run out of silver apples before the end of this node. Floridians fall out of trees when it's cold. Yes. Certain rooms in the plan are above 150. Yeah, it just sounds. Ugh. I would think at like 150 degrees, it's dangerous to go in there. Like you would need to take precautions. $14 in Pennsylvania right now? Damn. Yoink. Crocs flying upwards confirmed. Dude, if alligators or sharks ever learn how to fly, humanity's just fucked. Like, if they ever evolve in that way, we are screwed. Has chat, like, ever thought about that? Like, what if an animal evolves in a way that you just don't expect? And what would that do to us? Well, I made one AMV, so you have made one, though. Will I be able to do the raids? What do you mean? Like on JP? JP is going to be difficult for me. I'm going to be real with y'all, because again, during that time period, like I said, I have Christmas with the family. Girlfriend is now going to meet the family. I have... I have a trip with her over New Year's. So, like, all during that time, I'll probably get to stream maybe, like, 3 times. In the span of, like, 2 weeks. which is just gonna suck. I'm sorry for that in advance, chat. It is the holidays. I hope you guys understand. New player here. Do you think it's too late to start playing in 2025? No. The story ending after part two. So we don't actually know that the story will end. They have said that like Nasu's current intention is to do like an epilogue, he said, but he's also said that if the community wants it, he will continue on. And there are signs that they are like setting that up, that they are going to continue on. So I wouldn't say it's like a guarantee that the story ends here. But is it still worth playing? Yeah, I still think FGO is still a fun game. And I do believe that the game will still be around for years. I would say if you're apprehensive about the future of the game, though, don't spend money on it and wait to see what they do, like with the end of part two coming up here at the end of the year. If they pledge to doing a part three, then you're probably fine. If they don't pledge that, then I do think like holding on to your purse strings is probably a good idea. And also, welcome to the stream, Mark. Anything more than a quick transit needs a specific heat stress plan when it's that hot? Yeah. Florida Man would ride them, I guess. Probably. It would be like our new aerial mount. We would develop saddles and everything. They're plenty terrifying with their stealth and their hydraulic press called mouth. Yes. I assume you meant hydraulic, but yeah. Cats already evolved to dominate humanity. I mean, cats just do it through like mental manipulation. What about meeting us, your stream kid? She'll eventually meet you guys. I have said that. Like, at bare minimum, I think like early on when I was first talking to her, she was a little bit apprehensive about coming on stream. Now she's not, because she's seen stream. She understands like what it's about and stuff. And so it's like, I don't think she has an issue with that. It's just both everything in time and also like, when do we have the time to set something like that up? And she has stated, so like, we have not played a video game together yet, and she has stated, she's like, no, I want to play something with you, but the first time needs to be off stream. And I agree with her on that. So we will probably find the time at some point soon to do that. And then once that hurdle is cleared, then yeah, I think she'd be okay coming on stream. That's what I said. It's like, it's kind of a in her time, at her pace sort of deal. Ever see the movies Lake Placid and Lake Placid 2? Isn't there like a Lake Placid 4 now? Oh, yeah, baby! Pining for the fjords! Hit me right in the haggis! Will Mr. 2 become Mr. 3? So will Tucson become San? I hope so. Any games that you're waiting to be released in the next 2 years? Quite a few actually. Like, I assume Witcher 4 is probably coming, but jury's still out as to whether or not that's going to be a good game. Obviously Grand Theft Auto, but oh shit, I just used a a gold apple. Damn it! I've ruined my efficiency chat. It's fine. I assume like Grand Theft Auto, but I don't want to assume it's going to come to PC anytime soon. So that might be longer than 2 years. Elder Scrolls 6, if it does come in the next 2 years. There's rumors already that there's going to be a Divinity Original Sin 3 that's going to get announced at the Game Awards here on Thursday. So we'll have to see with that. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff. I'd say you're more likely to like ask me about a specific game, because I definitely have a wide variety of games that I'm interested in. Frostpunk 1886. Wait, is that actually like a confirmed thing? Because if so, that's amazing. He's warned her about the Collective. Why would I need to warn her? The Collective is inept and dooms itself. Has she played Portal or Portal 2? Yes, she has, and she does want to play one with me. Baldur's Gate 3 with a girlfriend. I want to get her to play Baldur's Gate so bad because she's a huge D&D person. I have been trying so much. And that's definitely like, chat, you will probably get to see a campaign between us at some point. I really, really want to play that game with her. That's like probably my number one most desired game to play with her. Because I think she finds it a little bit overwhelming because she has dabbled in it before. But it's one of those things where so it's like she's a little bit apprehensive about playing it, but if she plays it with me, again, I've beaten the game on honor mode, so it'll be a fun experience. Super big stick bug that's like 40 centimeters or something. Just read something funny in Australia. They just started the ban for under 16 seconds on social media sites. Wait, what? Oh, under 16 on social media sites. I don't feel like that's a like bad thing. Florida was one of the first places to do that, and I'm super happy that they did. I feel like just keeping underage people from social media stops them from getting like depressed and like seeing all this like unrealistic bullshit that like the rest of the world is subjected to. So a little bit you're protecting them until they develop a little bit more, and it's good for all parties involved. Scotland forever. Aye. You're pretending to be a fat bastard. No. You get it back since you didn't clean your mailbox? Wait, what? Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake. That one I'm a little apprehensive about, but that's just because if they try to change anything with it, it's just not going to go well. Because Black Flag, to me, Black Flag is the best Assassin's Creed game. So it's like the more they try to monkey with that, the worse that's going to make it. 6 Lake Placid movies? Jesus. Oh yeah, AC is still a thing. I've noticed that sometimes with Solomon, he will just sit there yapping until you hit the button. Sad I couldn't get NP2A skin, JP. It happens. There's always going to be more opportunities. Inept, I'm low effort. Thank you very much, Cad. No problem. Yesterday, 11-Bit Studios released a short video showing a bit of their whip. In the meantime, I'll be playing Frostpunk 2 in the first DLC. Are you on the Discord at all, Dominic? If so, you want to throw the Frostpunk thing in either gaming news or in the CAD chat section? I'd be happy to check it out. At least when I have the time. I never saw the appeal of social media even as an adult. There's definitely some fun and funny stuff on social media. There's definitely some like really cool art and stuff if you're into that. And there's definitely like, I think good people that you can follow that are a positive influence and aren't just like gonna like completely trash up your timeline. So in that regard, I like social media, but there's a whole lot of bad sides to social media, including people thinking that their opinion is way too important and thinking that likes equate right. And it does not. Funny bit was someone used a photo of a golden retriever to get past the verification. Yeah. I do think the age verification stuff needs to get better and is frankly just stupid with the way people are trying to implement it. I like not having underage people on stuff, but I also feel like trying to prevent everything from having access for like underage people is just stupid. Social media is one thing, everything else doesn't really need it. How many Air Bud movies are there now? Like 15 or something? Wait, really? Are there that many? I thought there was like 3 Air Bud movies. Can you make Black Flag better without sacrificing anything? The only way to make Black Flag better is to basically A, improve the graphics, and B, maybe expand the upgrades that a ship can get. That's it. That's really all you need to do. Don't touch anything else. Are you winning, son? Yes. I'm louder, therefore I'm correct. Yeah, there's a whole lot of that on social media. And it's why, like, I'm dead serious on this chat. It's one of the big reasons why I'm not, like, more active on Twitter. It's kind of dumb watching people, like, that are further ahead in the algorithm just sit there and, like, spit stupid ideas at people and it, like, get kind of attention for it. I feel like there's a point where you've created an echo chamber and people just, like, keep saying dumb shit just for the attention of it. And it just causes everybody to be dumber. And I'm not talking about, like, genuinely comedic stuff. I'm talking about, like, just bad takes on things. How good is the Grand Caster node? This is the singular best node that FGO has ever had in the history of the game. Does that answer your question? You will never probably have a node better than this. There's like 20 plus Land Before Time movies? What? I guess shit got milked in the background before I ever realized it. It's 15 because they did more movies with Airbuds puppies. Oh my god. Did they do like the equivalent of like Space Jam where it's like the Airbuds were an entire team? Because if so, that's actually hilarious. I've been doing the Demon God player node since I don't have enough time to beat OC4. Oh, that's unfortunate. We are kind of in the last stretch. It'd be very difficult now for a lot of people to actually get it done. Which is, again, if we go back to like people saying like, oh, so-and-so did it in X amount of time. It's like, yeah, this is why I told you guys. It's like most people are not going to be capable of that sort of thing. It's an interesting talking point, but I think people got deeply upset with me over saying that stuff. But it's like, it's the truth. It's like, it's going to be very difficult on anybody at this point to clear if they're not already close. Damn chat. Nice to see that that redeem is working, though. Oh, what the heck happened here? Why did I have such a low damage roll? Oh. They did an Avengers one where they all had superpowers. What? What? There we go. That cleared. I don't know what NP level that was right there, but I don't think I used a proper tonal eco because that's only the second like failure we've had. Like again, I am still amazed that Waver is this consistent. Like he has no business being more consistent of a clear than Merlin is. I should get OC4 done in a few days. I'm at OC3 right now. Yeah, see, and that's like understandable. Like, if you're in Ordeal Call, you can still finish. If you're not to Ordeal Call yet, you're gonna have a hard time. Especially for like your average person that can't just play like 24/7. Whenever the OC up is so good. Well, again, he has OC up and NP damage now. So that buff for him just really was cracked. Poor Waver can never get a break. Yep. Did you have D&D tonight, Bob, or was it food night? Hmm. Or Waver can never get a break. I mean, to be fair, Waver had years of break at this point. Like, Waver has been out of the meta for longer than he was in the meta. Because where Waver really left the meta was pretty much like when Castoria came into the game. He, even at that point, hadn't really been part of the meta for much like for a while. Like Reigns coming in actually killed him. And before that point, I'd say like just Scotty coming into the game already was a major hit. So Reigns being more of a thing ended up kind of like hurting him a ton. Waver's the default support for Scotty era. Yeah, if you needed a third support. But already in the Scotty era, you started having the double comps become much more of a thing. Plus units, I think, across the board just got better and more farmable. But that's where it's like, again, as you start moving down the track, it's like by the time you get to Castoria, he's just actually defunct. Like people just stop using him. So he had been already degrading in the meta. He had been around for those 5 years. He had been used, but to various degrees across those 5 years. And pretty much by the time we get to Castoria, he had already degraded so much that he was not being used super often. And then Castoria finally killed him off. Post Castoria, yeah, he's been actually dead until this buff. I actually stopped using Waver when I got my second 50% charge, which was Scotty. Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of got to that point. He need triple rainbow buff 20%. Oh no, he's good now. Like, he has better than that. He has 30% NP damage up. Like, Waver kind of disgusting now. It's just one of those where, like, I think the devs wanted to make sure that he was, how should I put it, unique and not something that just fell into the trap of being part of one of the other card types. They wanted Waver to be a catch-all character, and it's great. Like, even now, if you look back, it's like, who do we advise you guys to take with your starting, like, SSR, like, selector? Waver is now an even better option on JP than he ever had been historically. So I started with him on an A, and he's still a good option. JP, if I were to start, like, now, today, picking Waver is even stronger than it was before, which is kind of insane when you think about that. Yeah, we're already closing in on another another level up. Distinct enough from other supports, yeah. I think, ironically enough, now that Waver has this buff, like I've said before, Reigns is the one in a weird spot. I don't really see much of a reason to use Reigns currently, outside of like challenge content that directly requires her. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. The waiver buff, because we were talking about it because we had Lartoria get buffs, and she was like really close to like competing with Mel. Mel was still tangibly better after the Lartoria buffs, but then waivers buff because of how it impacts Lartoria and allows her to touch Black Grail actually made Lartoria stronger than Mel, which is crazy. Like, I never thought I would see that day. I always thought it was going to just be that Mel just had an insane lead over just about everybody outside of maybe like Erish with like Earth super effective Nishan play. Oh, this is a 110. Shit. This is a perfect ace other than the fact that they haven't finished leveling her. So let's see how impactful this is. I was wondering why Waver was better than Merlin, but now I remember his 30% MP damage buff. Damn. Yeah, plus overcharge. So if the unit has an overcharge like capability that's actually good, okay, so there you guys go. There's the difference in having your total eco leveled. Those 10 levels do matter. But yeah, that like if a unit has a scaling overcharge buff, they're more likely to be good with waiver. It just depends. And I already kind of stopped using Reigns for a while since I got more supports like Castoria. Yeah, it was really weird because on NA, Reigns was very short lived. Oh! 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 447, baby! That was a close shave. If Frostpunk 2 is successful. Yeah, see, I haven't played Frostpunk 2. That's the other interesting thing. I've heard like mixed stuff about Frostpunk 2. And it's funny because I actually had multiple key offers to play. Oh god, it's only an MP2. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Ah! Only an MP2 and I don't have Mighty Chain or a Buster Down. This is gonna be rough. This is actually gonna be rough. Yeah, that did not kill. Oh no! Thank God she got the arts crit there. That actually will help out. Waifu thick, yep. Well, Artoria basically defended the defense down here for this one. Honestly, yeah, we're gonna do that. That's gonna give me the Mighty Chain buff, and the defense down should help set up this ace to kill. You did well, apparently. Make me feel bad I only have NP2 ace. No, it's fine. I just like I took this one without looking. I don't know if it's yours, Kimba, but like it's on me because I just shouldn't have taken this one in. So it's like that's why I was worried about like how much it was gonna leave it with the second I selected it. I saw my mistake in real time and was like, oh god, shit. I don't want to Bond Grail her right now because I'm not gonna be able to use that. So we'll actually get to step out and see where we're at here. So again, that was chat. We literally just took San Zhang from Bond 6 to Bond 10 on the stream. Yeah, maybe it was 7, but either way. Also, what did I just do that gave me 200 Stardust? We're also at 500 clears, so we've cleared an extra 100 now on the stream. Well, why not? Let's take our only other remaining like 5-star caster to bond 10. Every 5-star caster I have will be bond 10, which is kind of nutty. I used like 5 bond grails this Lotto. I have used like 12. Which is the other reason why I'm trying like not to use more, because like in San Zhang's case, it's unlikely that I'm going to farm with her. I will certainly use her, but it's unlikely that I'm going to actually like sit there and use her devotedly, like for a guaranteed farm thing. So worst case scenario, I would just throw a bond grail on her later if I felt like I was going to use her a bunch. But for right now, there's no reason to. Man, there's some spicy ones in here now. I need to just keep taking the same, like, NP5 people. The amount of servants to bond 10 gives class score stuff. Oh yeah, it definitely does. It's just, I'm not somebody that actually needed that because I've been playing long enough. Like, most of those achievements are already done for me. But yeah, I guess with casters, it wasn't. Which in retrospect, kind of nutty if I consider the fact that most of them probably would be completable easily. Because there's a lot of low star like support casters. That being said, I don't think my JP has gotten to bond all of them. Like for instance, when we started this raid, like Shakespeare was at bond 6. He was not very far along at all. You have a starting city of 8,000. That's interesting, at least. I'm not sure how that would work, though, from the standpoint of, like, some of the early game stuff is already done for you then. Which is definitely odd. And now time is measured in weeks, months, and years instead of days, hours, and minutes. Okay, so it's is it more slowed down? Or do you have to like deal with the like super harsh winters more like faster then? Any Linux users here? Not for me. I mean, technically my bot runs on Linux, I think, but I've had to do some coding for it, but not like I don't ask me. I'm not familiar with the Linux operating system at all. Hope Summer BB comes back for New Year's. I want that meme seal straight or strat. Yeah, like Summer BB and Seal is just a nasty combo. And that's why it's so hilarious to me that like if you look at other units in the past, they were like, "Oh, we're worried about like making this an unlimited effect. Let's limit it to a number of times." And it's like, okay. And then Seal just unironically exists and shits on everything. And you're like, yeah? Like, low key chat, Seal is going to be one of the biggest things you guys can roll next year. It's just her viability for like hard in game nodes has been almost unparalleled, I would say. She has been super good for like 90 plus nodes. To the point that it's difficult for the devs to stop her from being good. LD player is not available for Linux. Oh, really? Huh. That is odd. I mean, LD player is not the only solution. You can ask Avalon about it. He definitely has a bunch. God, she's gonna hit Bond 10 for the end of the stream. We still have an hour left in stream, chat, and like we are well on our way on bonding some of these people. Although I don't think Shakespeare is gonna make Bond 15. He'd have to hit it like real quick here, which he may be that close. I haven't seen. I got Seal for my GSSR, and even at MP1, she's a monster. Yeah, because the big thing that she does is crits. So, like, especially if she's like a grail target for you guys, holy cow. She's just nutty. There we go. We're getting there. I think we're like 10 or less runs away from leveling up again. I actually didn't see how close we were there. Oh, God. The non-MLBs, no. Sadly, the non-MLB Black Grail is probably one of the biggest factors in damage output. Like, it's 20% extra NP damage there, plus the ability to level up the craft essence all the way to 2400 attack. So it's like there's a wild swing there in terms of damage capability. Shakespeare earned it. Honestly, that's why I've just been giving him and feeding him the Bond Grails. Like, Shakespeare is what has entirely enabled this composition. To a degree, I thought Merlin was the other half, but the fact that Waver's also doing it is kind of nutty. But Shakespeare, for how cost efficient he is, and how I'm getting so much firepower out of just 2 button presses, is nutty. Actually nutty. My seal on JP is NP3, and I think that's just because I actually legitimately luck sacked with her. Like, I didn't try specifically for NP3. I think I was trying for like NP2, and then like the 2 copies just came like in rapid succession, if memory serves. I think Shake's buff was Tentani. Yeah, he just got it. Like, and it's been a huge buff for him. Obviously. But yeah, it's definitely helping out his viability for stuff like this, because this is what Shakespeare used to be good at, and for a long period in time, nobody had really used him because he just wasn't up to par with like some of the other units that existed in the game. Now, though, he is way too good as a support for his like rarity level and cost. So there's so much upside to taking him. Because again, behold, extra NP damage and party-wide buster up on a 2-star. So it's like, I could absolutely like slot in a different support here, maybe get a little bit more, but the cost, the party cost in order to get that is what would really hurt. Yeah, so we are 3 runs away from leveling up again. Gonna make this interesting. You can probably pop another silver. You're gonna be upset if I'm like 10 AP shy or something and need to pop another silver right into the level up. I have a feeling I'll get MP5 seal to match my MP5 arc. You certainly can. It's just the biggest issue with her is not her NP level. Like, I would say NP2 seal is a really high like capability target. But it's kind of like the Jalter scenario where early on in Jalter's history, you didn't get Jalter for her NP damage. You got Jalter for her crit damage. And that is exactly what Seal feels like. Just having Seal is a game changer, as opposed to necessarily needing to get additional copies of her. Because so much of what she does is it's almost like when we talk about a support, where it's like so much of what the support does is just baked into their kit. That's the same thing with Seal. Like what makes Seal strong is her kit. If you want the lists, I think it's up to date. It should be, yeah. Fandom's usually good about that. Her crits are so disgusting anyways, yeah. Yeah, so this worked out perfectly. I'm gonna use all of my AP and then level up and then be able to use that to finish this off. Which again, chat, for any of you guys that are that have like missed some of the prior ones where I talked about this week, Wednesday I'll be streaming with you guys, so I will stream with you guys tomorrow. Friday will be my day off. So that will be a long weekend between me and the girlfriend. So she was not able to do date night on our normal Wednesday, so she opted to move that. There we go. We level up again. We're only 3 levels away from max now, which even before the end of stream here, I will probably get good progress towards the next level. I don't think I'll make 188 by the end of stream, but I should at least be a good chunk of the way to it. Build districts that are staffed by hundreds of workers. The whiteout was the final boss of A New Home and is now the stepping stone in story mode. Interesting. 2,000 weeks for unlocking True Endless. I'm not summoning until Lilith and Olga banner arrives. You have MP2 Kenshin, so I'm set. Hey, you definitely don't have to. It's just, God, dude, like Seal works in like every single like 90 plus after she comes out for months. It's kind of disgusting. And that's where it's like, I really do think it's one of those units where the devs just kind of fucked up. They should not have done that. First long, yeah, so, I think Frostpunk 2 is on sale on Steam. I could probably get it for free. Like I said, I've had multiple offers from the devs. I had not picked it up. The class score bit me in the ass there. I had not picked it up because I had heard mixed things about it. Is CAD gonna roll MP5 on Seal? I don't know. Like I said, my JP has kind of proven that I don't need to. Like, again, I think NP2, NP3, she is just like redonkulously good at that strength level. Devs trying not to make a broken unit challenge impossible. Well, I've explained this before, but part of one of the reasons why you'll see the devs actually make something super strong is they do at points feel the need to push the envelope. That if they don't do that, people won't roll the unit. So, like, let's say Seal had like 50% less crit capability. She would still be a very strong unit, but it might not be enough to make people go, ooh, wow, I gotta have this unit. and therefore pull out their wallets and stuff if they're incapable of securing it with the amount of courts that they have. So the idea about it is that you don't want to just make a unit incrementally stronger because that's not as appealing to people. But I do agree that just making something incrementally stronger will like kind of put a dampener on the like inflation that you get with certain unit capabilities. So on one hand, it's better for the game's long-term balance and health to not make a unit super strong. On the other hand, it's better for short-term gains and money if they make the unit strong. So it's just they have to end up kind of dealing with the backside of that. That plus the 50% charge plus the because of story clear. Oh yeah, dude. I can't even imagine just having free 50% extra charge right now. That is one of the like more crazy things that the JP devs have done. So if chat's unaware, whenever you do story right now on JP, you just have 50% extra charge. Everybody in your party has it. Like they were just like, we want people to clear, so we just made the game like 50% easier. People were stuck with BB for so long, I think that was part of their calculus. Yep. All right, there's another 30 courts. Back out, go get waiver. Let's not do that. Cause I'm in too deep and I'm trying to keep up above in my head. I feel like I'm gonna be right out here to do this with Shakespeare again. So we are over 200 boxes now, chat. 120k is the 200 mark. Yeah, so Shakespeare will be there before the end of stream. Shakespeare's not going to get to bottom 15, which honestly, good. I don't think that's like that still allows me to keep using Shakespeare without feeling like he's a capped unit that's just going to overflow. Also, holy Buster Cards Batman. Is part, yeah. Do you think the devs will fix Super Aoko's AoE Buster extra attack? I don't know. That's definitely one of those ones where I feel like the devs are just set in stone with Aoko, and she is a powerful unit. But she's definitely also, to me, a unit that could use some tweaking in the same way. And this is someone that I likened her to, but it's in the same way as... Wait, is Twitch streaming Fallout Season 2? What? That shouldn't be out yet, I don't think. Is it? Or did it, like, come out literally just today? Anyways, it's one of those things where I feel like, in a similar vein to Jekyll and Hyde, like, she's very similar. She's like a 5-star version of Jekyll and Hyde. Admittedly, a much better version as a result. But because of that, she has some clunkiness to her that I do think the devs do need to address. Whether or not they address it now or later, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Actually, some of the older units are still busted for a lot of content. Castoria, for example, is 5 years old, but she's never not someone who would be a must roll. I was gonna say, to me, Castoria is still the most like must roll unit in the game. Like, she just with her kit, she facilitates the most shit. She is both offensive and defensive, and just is the best support in the game. There are certainly considerations otherwise. Whatever, I'll take this. But I do think, like, if you're going to say anybody in the game is a must roll, Castoria is the closest. From there, I do think it branches out a bit, and it definitely depends. And I don't think, like to chat's credit, I don't think anybody truly is a must roll. Like, even with Castoria, you don't have to have her to be able to succeed in this game. It's just, good lord, does she make that way, way easier. Black Grail with 50% charge is disgusting. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about the Ort raid. That would just be a game changer for that. Fergus used to pray for times like these. Fergus used to pray for 10% charge. No, I don't use any bot. Never have, never will. There's like, as somebody that has been playing FGO pretty much since like the beginning on NA, I've always had to do things the hard way, so I don't really see or put much stock in doing things any other way. And while I understand why people would want to do that sort of thing, I just basically had the stance of like, I'm a content creator for this game. Why the fuck would I bot it? If I can't do it the normal way, no one can. Because I am basically playing the game far more than most other people do. Premiere the 17th, according to Google. Interesting. So I wonder if they got like a special preview of one of the episodes or something. Time to try and sleep. No, that's all good, my dude. Have a good one. Get you some rest. Most unit for the last 5 years running. Yeah, and I think that's a pretty wild stat. I do think the devs have tried to break things up a little bit with the Castoria meta, and to a degree they have. I think the Castoria meta is fine now. I don't think they need to do any more tampering with it. We'll see what the devs do in the future, though. Because I definitely think that's a, like... We've now seen that there is solemn defense here. So the devs have given themselves that as an out if they really want to break the Castoria meta. The problem is, if they break the Castoria meta, I think it'll just piss everyone off. Like, I think your challenge community would be fine with it, but I think, like, everybody outside of the challenge community would just be like, bro, fuck this. Because people are so used to having her now. Even when the game tries to kill her invincible. Yep. I wish we could do the Ort raid again. Honestly, I kind of do too. That's I'm not someone that thinks that the game needs like infinite challenge content or anything like that, but I do believe that we should be able to go back and like redo challenges. I feel like that's just a smart way of handling things, because it's just going to give people a lot of enjoyment and nostalgia. It was like midnight when I got it. I needed sleep for shit to do the next day. Like I've said before, it's like, to me, I don't advocate for using bots. I usually don't like them to be discussed on stream because it feels like it's like pushing people to do things that way. But I've also said, like, if you use a bot, I don't really care, as long as you're not trying to like be like, oh man, I farmed X amount of boxes, I'm so great. It's like, as long as you're not trying to like gloat that you botted the game, I don't fucking care. Like, go ahead, do whatever you guys want to do. I also think to a degree it's like, it's not a healthy thing to promote it. So that's why I usually like don't like to talk about it. I feel like if everybody just bots the game will die. Because the raid ended in the morning. Yeah. Minus the buff removal crap. Oh, you're talking... Well, yeah, but buff removal against Castoria, like... Okay, so you remove buffs. congratulations, that screws over every other support too. So it's like that doesn't break the meta, that just kills supports entirely. Which then the counter to that is having buff removal resistance. So it's a back and forth like rock paper scissors system, which I do think is a good thing. Fucked me over several times, yeah. The big one that I think is weird is Castoria's Noble Phantasm cleanses, but you cannot select it if it's stunned. Like, so let's say like you have Castoria's MP and you have someone else who's stunned that also has an NP. You can set it up where Castoria's MP goes off first and cleanses the stun, but it still will not allow you to select the second Noble Phantasm because the unit's stunned during the selection process, which is kind of stupid to me because you can certainly select other cards that are, stunned. And so it's really weird that they will let you do that, but not a Noble Phantasm. So it feels like it's an actual, like, hard limitation of the game. That they just don't want to allow that sort of thing. Not sure what would counter anti-enforcement defense, but evade and not invulnerability. Yeah, that's really what they're trying to do, is trying to make evade a little bit more evenly matched in terms of like survival capability. The problem is like, let's look at OG Scotty, right? She has evade on her Noble Phantasm, but it doesn't scale like Castoria's does. So as a result, you don't get a whole lot of benefit out of it. It's just a one-time thing and you might be screwed. So it does provide some additional like capability, but this was always one of the bigger complaints when it came to Scotty, is that while her NP is defensive, she doesn't have an easy way of getting to it. So it definitely results in a lot of like weirdness in that regard. Windows Sama didn't shut down this time. Praise my botting prowess. Yes. I think bosses with AoE regular attacks is worse than buff removal. It is. Like the most challenging thing for the invincible comp is going to be bosses that just spam attacks across the board. Another one is like if a boss taunts one of your characters. That way they buzzsaw right through the stacks. So there's definitely some counters to it. The devs have used all of the counters over the years, and I think that's fine. I think it's a-okay for them to have fights that like Castoria and the Invincible comp is not good in. I think that's fine. The idea though would be that you don't make it so many fights that like the player feels like they can't use that. Because that is, if we look back historically, that's what the devs did for things like the charm meta that used to be a thing. They started making every boss have debuff immunity. And it was just stupid. It's like, oh, now this is just no longer a strategy because nobody can debuff a boss. And it's like, it's just dumb. And I feel like there's a healthy balance of like, hey, we've put these mechanics in to kind of curtail this strategy, but not outright disallow it all the time. And so I think that's where the devs have had some growing pains learning that stuff over the years. They've gotten better with it. But in the past, yeah, I think they were horrid about it. What I like about Summer Shiki's kit is that while it can pierce invuln and solemn defense, it can't deal with evade. Yeah. But remember, the most threatening enemy in the game was a Spriggan using its critical kick attack and one-shotting you. The Spriggans are just something else, man. Spriggans, don't apply logic to Spriggans. They will kill you. That's the basis of what you need to understand. If you let a Spriggan hang around long enough, it's you that's gonna feel the pain. Spriggan got hands. The Clarionomia, Enhanced Soldiers, and LB5. I didn't feel like they were that difficult. I remember LB1 and LB2, yeah. Kitchen CQ is fun. Nice. I still have yet to do it because, again, priority has been on farming this Lotto here. Fluffy is definitely one of the game's hardest fights, if not the hardest. And I think a lot of it just has to do with where you usually encounter him and how much of a like pain in the ass that fight is. Honest to God, that fight with the 50% charge is probably so much easier now. Because one of the big aspects of that fight is having to balance all of your needs between like, okay, I need to be able to deal with his debuffs while still able to like, you know, pump out damage, but also at the same time, I am having to provide some form of defense and healing for myself and like keep myself alive. Having 50% charge on the front end of that means you get your damage dealing Noble Phantasm off faster, but also you get your healing and cleansing Noble Phantasm off faster. So that's probably a whole heck of a lot better. That's definitely something that I think they kind of got a little bit wrong with Fluffy. Fluffy is just super punishing, not only due to the mechanics, but also due to the fact that he is just a berserker. And if you look back, some of our hardest fights in Lost Belt are just because you're facing a berserker. So there's not a like good hard counter to it. Other than, again, like taking a foreigner. And if you just don't have a good foreigner roster, get bent, I guess. And then even then, in some of the cases, like if you look at, say, Arjuna Alter, it doesn't matter if you take a foreigner to that fight. Arjuna Alter still one-shots them, which is kind of absurd. There's also so many units who need debuffs to do the most with their kit. Yeah. I mean, it's like we were talking about Nightingale the other day, and that's one of the problems with Nightingale is that, like, sure, you can debuff the enemy, but why would you want to debuff the enemy and try to lower the amount of damage they're doing to you when you can just prevent the damage they're doing to you? It's like it's a poor solution to a otherwise preventable problem. Spriggan Smash. I hate how well this works. This song is so good. It's such a bop. And it's a combination that, like, absolutely should not go together, but does. Cerberus Hydra spawns in LV6. Cerberus is not a big deal. At least I didn't think so. I have seen people struggle with it. I've even seen fellow content creators struggle with that fight. I didn't think that fight was that bad. There it is, chat. There's another 30. So we're probably really close to second pity now. We're probably like about 20 courts away. At least I think. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Now, chat, I've used 14 Bond Grails. Just off of this. Still not out, but again, I didn't farm the earlier nodes as much. Every time you say Fluffy, my mind goes to when did Gabriel Iglesias join an FGO? He is a great comedian. And command seal the Fluffy fight. Yep. I fortunately had a strong how to deal with Fluffy. Yeah. Offensive healing is the best type of healing. Yeah. And we've talked about that before. It's like Do you want to react to the healing? Do you want to lower do you want to react to the damage? Do you want to mitigate the damage, or do you want to prevent the damage? The answer is obviously prevent. Prevent is the best scenario because there's no risk if the damage never hits you in the first place. So it's all about like risk mitigation. And in the same idea, it's like if you can kill the enemy before they deal damage to you, that is the best way of protecting yourself. So it's like the best defense is a good offense. The enemy can't hurt you if it's dead. Taylor and Tez is actually a cracked AoE unit. Tez is pretty solid. He is an assassin, and so there's definitely going to be a little bit of a fall off there due to that. But yeah, no, Tez is really solid. The issue that a lot of people I think have is that if you have the Summer Valkyries welfare, Tez at like NP1 is just comparable, and the major benefit that he's going to provide is the party charge. That's really the only difference. Versus if you get multiple MP levels of Tez, yeah, Tez is kind of nutty at that point. He doesn't really have a fair comparison. Because he's one of the closest things that the assassins have to an actual support outside of Koyanskaya. Which is kind of hilarious because Osaka Behime exists, and I'm still going to stand by that statement. Yeah, Invult and Pierce in general on units is just really solid. That's, again, one of the reasons people like Melson, Lartoria, Castor Umu, like, you name it. Like, units that have Invult and Pierce just tied to their NP is really good. Skip song, please. Wait, did someone redeem the song skip? Yes, they did. Sorry. Got you. I just did not see the redeem. That's my bad. I think I'm set on a couple. Some could go the other way. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to make a decision just yet. And do keep in mind, again, that you can switch who your Grand is. The devs have given you items to do so. I got Tez NP2 from Daily Disappointment in a GSSR. So he's one of my cheapest NP2s ever. Oh yeah, like I said, he is just a strong unit. Having that capability in his kit, he's definitely a bit of a Swiss Army knife whenever you need an assassin. And he is one of my like few like usually, as you guys can notice, I rarely take damage dealers off of support. I'm usually instead taking an actual like support character and just using my own damage dealers. Obviously, this Grand Duel here is an exception to that. But usually I'm going to take a support character and instead. Tez is one of the few that I just will like be like, okay. And I'll just take him anyways because he's good in both capacities. I figured Chez would be the best DPS for this fight. She is. Chez is like your go-to. It's just the problem with that is most people don't have a Grand Chez. So Ask is just far more common and is the second best option. Because it's still like in Ask's niche. I'm still confused about Grands because I don't have many 120s. Well, you don't have to have a 120. They just have to be level 100. 120 is obviously more desirable because the unit's just stronger. But you can just go with your level 100 units. And again, you can see, like, even in the scenarios like I've got right here, Chat, my Grand is Castoria. You guys haven't seen my Grand get used in the battle like but one time. So basically, you can take somebody else's Grand and have them power you to victory, assuming you have like good supporting units. So that's something to keep in mind, is that like your Grand choice could matter, or it might not matter at all. At least for the purposes of like getting through the Grand duels and farming. Yeah, the only requirement to be a Grand is to be level 100 and 10 10 10 skills. Appends do not count. NP levels do not count. On JP, do we have another raid on the 20th? We have the finale on the 20th. The finale should have a raid, if I remember correctly. Not to feel bad, I only have 2 120s to Olga. Yeah. See, chat, still think I'm botting? I'm legitimately just that fast at this. I already pre-know where a lot of like the positions of stuff are. I think it helps the fact that besides the grand duels, you don't actually get any benefits for the grand servant in normal content. They do get a little bit of extra like attack and HP, but that's it. But I think, and I've talked about this before, I think as we look towards the future, obviously the grand system is going to be used here in the finale. But what happens when you are done with the finale? Is that it? Are they just never going to do anything with grands ever again? That feels like a huge waste, right? Like, obviously, there's got to be additional usages for them. So I do expect in the future there's just going to be fights that are designated grand fights. Otherwise, again, it's like, yeah, what purpose would you have once you got through that? Doubly so if you manage to be able to clear the finale without having grands. That would be kind of wild, but I could definitely see that sort of thing happening. Yeah. Wait, do I have a gurus? Hey, what's up, Moo? How's it going? Yeah, we're finally below 600 silver apples. Holy crap. What you been up to lately, Moo? OC3 now? Oh, you're trucking right through. So how was LB7 for you on the new player account? What kind of games does my girlfriend like? I know a bit about co-op games. It's mostly co-op games is what she definitely likes to play. She's not a big like competitive gamer. And she likes like puzzle stuff. Like one of her favorite games is like Legend of Zelda, chat. Because I asked her, I think, what her favorite game of all time was, and she was like, "Oh, Ocarina of Time, hands down." And I'm like, "Yup, go figure." Game makes too much money just to kill it. I could definitely see a scenario in which they would, but it would require Nasu to just kill it. And he basically stated in the Annie 10 interview he's not going to do that. So I think now knowing that, we know that the game has a future, and the only question is what does the future of it look like? More of a retired JP account. Yeah, that's all good. I get it. I'm on OC3 now, and it's frustrating. It definitely is a weird one. I was not the hugest fan of OC3 gameplay wise. Story wise, I don't know enough about it, but I've heard interesting things. So, what are people's thoughts on Kenshin? I feel kind of silly having rolled for her. She's definitely a solid like boss killer for like challenge fights and stuff. But yeah, I would say like she is the epitome of a luxury unit. The fact she removes buffs before damage goes out, though, that will always be a useful utility. Always. So I definitely wouldn't look down on the fact that you have her. But if you feel bad about it, just start saving for next year. There's plenty of good units coming out next year. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to feel like there's a specific time, like, oh my god, here's a moon cancer, I have to use her. Like, I mean, OC3 will have that scenario. Plus, OC4 is the ruler OC, so you'll definitely find uses for her in the future. It's just one of those where it's like there doesn't have to be a like set specific moment. As somebody that's just going to be a good challenge and boss killing unit, you could just probably plug her into any sort of scenario and have her do amazing for you. The only thing I would say is like if you had planned to use her for farming purposes, yeah, there might not be a whole lot there. I have Draco and Summercast Array, so I don't have much reason to roll. Yeah, Draco's definitely another solid one. The only issue you're going to have with Draco is if you're up against extra classes. I thought there was like something wrong with my internet connection, but this is just the remix of the song. Astray is one of the closest comparisons. Yep. Yeah, it's kind of wild that like even at NP1 she still holds her own against Estrella, which is like I think it's both a testament to like the power creep in the game, but it's also a testament to like the devs knew that that was going to be an issue, and they knew they had to make their first 5-star ruler, single target ruler, strong. I should have kept saving for next year. She had so many good ones next year. I wouldn't worry too much about it. You'll still probably have a good shot at getting those units. You just might need to trim what your focus is. Kenshin answers the question, what if Amakusa was single target and arts? Do we still have Amakusa's kit? Like, honest to God, one of the worst parts about Amakusa is just the way his skills work. I hate that for him, because he is such a clunky unit. I'm not too sold on Space Airish outside of waifu reasons. There's been a couple times where she's been really solid. To me, it definitely depends on like again, like are you going to roll her to enough of a capacity that she would compete with some of your other options? Because I think Space Airish's big appeal is going to be, hey, I specialize in just like handling any number of extra class scenarios. She is just a solid neutral looper. But yeah, I think like beyond that, I would almost treat her like she's Space Ishtar. A ramp takes too long in a farming situation. Yep. Yeah, like you're not gonna get her gauge maxed if I remember correctly in a farming scenario. That's just gonna be an inevitability. Space Airish and Seal. Seal is again one of the ones where it's like we were talking about it earlier. She's just redonkulously good. Can she'll be usable against moon cancer enemies in OC3, especially that wacky looking final boss? Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say again, it's like Space Irish is as strong as she needs to be. People are gonna roll for her. It's like I don't think you're gonna have to do much convincing for people. They're just gonna roll for her because it's Irish, and that's really all that matters. It's kind of the same thing with like the Saber Faces. It's like they don't have to be the strongest unit in the game. They just have to be competitive. And as long as they are, people will roll for them because it's just a popular character that people love. Just kind of what if Arcuid was blue? I don't know that I'd say that. She's Arcuid has some interesting applications because of her like actual like skill setup, but I've actually like I've almost used Space Airish in a like pseudo like hybrid support capacity from time to time. It's not the best, but it is like an interesting thing that I've done a couple of times. And it's happened more often than I'd like to admit. Seal's cracked. Oh yeah. Ugh. Give me my cinnamon roll. Yep. I expect people that love her and would roll. I like her too. Just man, it's tough using her. Yeah, I think like it's the same way where like people have tried to knock Draco by saying like, "Oh, you can't use Draco because there's so many extra classes in the game." It's like, yeah, there are a lot of extra classes in the game. There's also a lot of the original 7 classes. Draco's still good. So I almost view Space Airish and just the like she's just the other side of that coin. Where it's like, yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to use her very effectively against like the 7 base classes. There's still plenty of extra classes in the game now. So you're still going to be able to find times where she's useful. Now, is that a like a unit that people have to have? Is that a unit that like you recommend everybody roll? I don't know. I think that one's a little bit more up in the air. And I think that definitely depends on like what the person has and what they're after. Like if you have an arch-centric kit, yeah, she's probably a good pickup. If you are a buster-like person, well, then, you know, maybe that's less of a big deal. So it definitely depends on how people look at things. But I'd also say, I think the true genesis of like Masters and FGO is that you shouldn't be a like one-trick pony, and that the only times that you should be are when it's like early in your account's history. Hey, Waver, you look like you could use some health there, bud. Getting that MP3 for Space Airish makes her so much more usable for me. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing where like people used to argue about like Space Ishtar back in the day, saying like, oh, it's fine, just take your NP5 Space Ishtar. And it's like, well, you can, but not everyone's going to have an NP5. And if you don't have like the really robust version of the unit, how viable are they? I think this just lives in the realm of like, what does it feel like when you're a neutral damage dealer? And it's kind of rough. Damn it. God, I have gotten so many casters to Bond 10. Down to taste in their Chaldea. Yeah, 100%. I think that's a like, she's a good unit. You don't have to get her. She is a luxury, and you basically roll for her if you want her, is the general takeaway that I would say for her. Fuck it, Liz, get in there. Chat wanted Liz, we're throwing Liz into the frying pan. Draco has a lot more uses in my opinion, but we're in extra class chapters. I do agree with that, and I think it'll be interesting to see like where the game goes after part 2, and that will definitely impact some of the longevity and staying power of this. That being said, I do believe the devs have realized the need to actually flesh out the extra classes. I do think that's going to stay. I don't think that's something they'll just give up on overnight. Because I think they realize that it's difficult to get people to roll for the extra classes if the game doesn't have enough opportunities to use them. So you're Chaldea with space waifus? I mean, you're not wrong. Let's go. I called for Liz. Exactly. God, chat, we're almost halfway through the level already. I like low key, I wish I had like another day. Just one more day to farm this. I feel like if I had one more day to farm this, I would be at 190. But again, if there are raids on the finale, then that's probably where I'll hit 190. Aside from GSSR and maybe fishing for NP4 Lartoria, come Valentine's Day, I shouldn't be rolling until summer. Yeah. I mean, again, I think there's a lot of solid options coming up this next year, and it really just depends on like what people are after. I think like the general consensus best unit next year is probably Seal. After that, there are still a lot of good options, but it really like depends on you as a person. I'll be joining you in the end game, damn it. I hope so, man. Like I said, people will probably have more time to farm than I will, because I'm just going to be super busy over the holidays, which, just to briefly talk about this chat. So, again, the 20th is girlfriend's party. Like, just with me looking at this, the 20th is girlfriend's Christmas party that I'll be going to. 21st, I'm going to meet my brother. I'll probably like Wednesday, which is Christmas Eve. That'll be when my Christmas break starts. So you guys will probably have me on like the Monday and Tuesday. But then after that, I won't be streaming again until like probably the 29th and the 30th. And then the 31st through the 4th, I will also not be streaming. So you guys in the span of like 3 weeks will get like 4 streams out of me. And I just have to apologize for that in advance. It's just a busy thing. No, Aoko. I feel like Aoko's really strong, but I feel like Aoko is clunky, and it makes her difficult to use at times. I think she's a decent challenge unit, but I think the like farming capability is just not really there with her. Like, you can make it happen, but you have to like supplement it. It has to be a hybrid comp. And I feel like at that point, that's not necessarily a reason to roll. So to me, I look at her more as like people just in the same way almost as like Space Airish. It's going to come down to like what people want. Got MP2 Lilith. Nice. Congratulations. So Genshin can get player's choice again. I mean, Genshin's gotten stuffed like the past 2 or 3 years on that. I don't think they'll win it again here. I understand like what they're doing and why they're trying to get people to do stuff, which I saw something the other day. Apparently, Brown Dust got banned off Steam, and people were claiming that it was a censorship thing, but I guess Brown Dust got banned because they were trying to manipulate wishlist votes, which is interesting. Ugh. Am I going to be watching Game Awards? Yeah, we'll watch Game Awards on Thursday. He's leaving us at the orphanage on the 20th. No, I mean, like I've told you guys, if you guys are on the Discord, I'll still be posting like pictures and stuff. Again, yeah, it's the holidays, so I hope chat understands. I hope chat has fantastic holidays themselves. How did Alice age? Alice is still good. Like, Alice is just one of those deals where it's like, it's quick. So if you're not somebody that wants to use quick, you're not going to use her. If you are somebody that can use quick and likes it, Alice is fantastic. Because again, she's basically got her own unique proprietary form of, and I fucked that up. I should have done the Mighty Chain. Her own unique proprietary form of solemn defense. So definitely interesting there. God, I got MP5 Lilith for like 300 cent quartz. Is that good? Yes, it's very good. Wait, I lied. I don't have Khosrow Drop. Khosrow Drop's another interesting one. She's definitely strong. I've seen people try to like label her as like a Scotty replacement. That's absolutely not true. I don't know why people say that. She is not a replacement for Scotty at all. No! It's over, isn't it? That was my last run. No! Well, let's see. Maybe there's something new right here on JP. I do like Lohi better in that case. Lohi's definitely strong. Lohi's one of the ones that people should pay attention to. I was trying to get one more, so was I. Nothing. We got the Lilith banner. Wait, are the casters still up? No. Oh my god, chat. It's been so long. We're back down to 3 banners. I haven't seen this in months. Like, what the hell? 3 banners? Is this poverty? Like, been 3,000 years. Darty, thank you for the 82. Appreciate it, my dude. Yeah, it's actually kind of wild. All right, chat. We're going to go ahead and end stream. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I will be back tomorrow, like I said. And if you guys haven't already checked it out, get on the Discord, obviously. But definitely go subscribe to the YouTube. We have the new Lotto guide out there. You guys can find it in the comments as well if you type in ! Lotto. But definitely go give that a view. Has all the comps that you guys need to be able to get through the farming coming up on NA. So again, make sure you guys go give that some love. If you need help, you know where to ask. And obviously share it with your friends if they need help as well. In the meantime, I'm going to send us to somebody I haven't rated before. We have a VTuber who's playing FGOs. Let's go give her a watch. And again, appreciate you guys' support. Thank you guys for those of you guys that stuck around to the end of the stream. Hopefully you guys got all the farming done that you wanted. Let's go give Nova our love, and I will see you guys tomorrow.